Hello, everyone. Welcome to Brine Blight. This is an original Underwater Revolution sea campaign using the Cypher system. That trips me up every time because Cypher starts with a C and S-E-A, and that's why I struggle with that. I'm sorry. But welcome on in. This is episode 9. Just want to do a real quick shout out to all of our Patreons. Thank you for all of your support. Because of you, we are able to do everything that we do at this channel. If you want more information about what you can get for being a Patreon, you can use !Patreon. We also have all of our episodes available on our YouTube. You can head on over there, !YouTube as well, for all of our campaigns, including this one. We're going to go around and reintroduce everyone. Please tell me who you are, where we can find you, and tell us a little bit something about your character. And we'll start off with Christian.
Hi, my name is Christian, better known as Cap in most online spaces. You can find me waiting in line at midnight for the release of Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver 7, how many years ago at this point? I don't want to think about it. I play Risubi. I play Risubi. Mantis shrimp brawler being piloted by a squirrel. He is the perceptive warrior who needs no weapon, and we love that. I'm done.
It's so funny. I had to move things around because I have a new setup here and the window's a little smaller than it usually is. And for some reason, when I looked over Risubi, I thought it said a perceptive warrior who snacks.
Oh, yes. That too.
I see that as well.
I think in the book, it's the sneaks is actually infiltrates, but I like being able to confuse people into thinking that Risubi just snacks, and that's his power.
It has come up a couple times, like in
a little
fiction.
bit, yeah.
Thank you so much. We'll head on over to Z.
Hi, I'm Z or Zach. You can find me on Twitter at ZachDevs. Today I'm playing Calliope, the sharp-eyed adept who fuses mind and machine. Calliope and I are very different. I'm not so sharp today, but did you say a fact about the character?
Yeah, whatever you want to say.
Well, right now, I guess all I can say is that Calliope looks really cool, maybe because Calliope just got redesigned by their whole team, and everyone had some design input. So Calliope is the coolest looking android in the sea right now.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Next, we have Jay.
Hi, I'm Jay Justice. You can find me at that Jay Justice on all the things. I do cosplay and game development and writing, and I love accessibility and I love making things accessible for everyone. My character is Bahari. She's a creative adept who exists partially out of phase. She is a manta ray merperson. And when Bahari's around, everyone snacks because she's got deep pockets and they are full of snacks and other helpful things that you all will see about later.
Ooh. I'm still Luna. Today I'm playing Berengaria, a kind speaker who controls beasts and doesn't at all have any kind of sad story in their background, and this flashback is going to be fine.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Why
It's gonna be an
always
episode of Sesame
lying?
Street. That's what it is, right? Berengaria doing a television show made of with puppets.
Y'all
for
are ready
children?
for our musical episode, right?
Yes.
You ready?
Improv musical.
Yes.
It's a dream campaign. Let's go.
Okay.
Yes, I'm gonna throw that over to the TricksyWizard duo. We'll start off with Trout. Please tell me all about you.
Hi, I'm Trout. My partner Adam and I make TricksyWizard comics. Today I'm playing Bunk. They're a brash sniper who's wanted by the law. We are starting to learn a bit more about Bunk's backstory. They're a little bit more than a cowboy and definitely full of revenge, which is a bit detrimental to their revolutionary goals, as we are starting to see. And I will toss it to Adam, who will tell you more about TricksyWizard and the campaign and stuff.
Hi there, I'm Adam. I'm the other half of TricksyWizard. Trout and I work on comics, illustration work for tabletop games and campaigns. We wrapped up last month our very first Kickstarter with our friends over at Mage Hand Press. We made a card game called Witchy Cakes, a towering game of cakes and chaos. That was a ton of fun, incredible experience. I am, of course, running the game here, so I'm playing everybody else, and I'm very, very excited.
I did mean to play the Witchy Cakes trailer, but I was so busy and so excited of seeing everyone in the party to come together again that I forgot to hit the button. So I will hit the button during break, so you can all check that out then.
Yes.
That is super fun. We also do have a few secret projects upcoming. We'll be able to talk about them very soon, and we will make sure y'all are some of the first people to know.
Woo!
Always working, always busy.
Always tired.
Yeah. But anyway, I believe we have some Cypher to play. Everybody ready?
Yes.
We'll make a splash today.
Yes. We got it.
All right. Well, if we're good to go.
I'm caught in a riptide of excitement.
Okay, that's quite an.
You save that for the next episode.
Shit.
You can't use it. You burned it.
They couldn't help it.
Okay, now you two. Now you two.
Yeah, no, yeah.
That's
no.
I'm done. So, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everyone, to Meribas, the crown jewel of the Levanine Sea. Welcome back once again to the aquatic capital of the kingdom of Sonaspar. It is a city of merfolk and fishfolk and the crustacean-like ostracans, the spiny-headed urchins, and all manner of other reef-dwelling denizens. And of course, their terrestrial neighbors who have moved in for a rather permanent visit. This is a city teetering ever more wildly on the brink of revolution with each passing day. A city propped up by the husk of a puppet monarchy. A city built at the heart of a sea-spanning network of 5 grand coral reefs, and in turn, the heart of a sprawling colonialist enterprise by the Valthuran Empire, who seek to extract the miraculous substance known as corallite from those reefs, the better to fuel their machines of conquest and military expansion. Recent weeks have seen the first few sparks of brewing rebellion flying as the city's emergency broadcast system was hacked just last night to spread a message of revolt, and an infamous seafloor prison complex was brought crashing down by industrial sabotage. Rumors already abound as to who could possibly be responsible for these attacks, and imperial propaganda is already firing on all cylinders, diffusing, denying, co-opting, and obfuscating. Nevertheless, the city's exploited workers, the thousands of them rather, perhaps emboldened by the developments that we just discussed here, thousands of these exploited Sonaspari workers have organized an unprecedented strike at the city's metropolitan corallite refinery, the complex that ensures a steady flow of pure, powerful, refined corallite energy for the city and, more importantly, for its imperial overseers who lie above. Valthur's imperial ego has been bruised in recent days, without a doubt, and that's sure to make them especially lethally dangerous in the days to come. But as we return to our story, we are going to start, first and foremost here, with Berengaria. We rejoin you here in the substructure of the Academy of Schoolmasters, far, far below the suspended dome of its main campus. You're here barely visible amid the shadows of the narrow access tunnels that lead to the Shark Rehabilitation Center and Sanctuary, one of your old haunts from your tenure at the Academy, and more recently a makeshift hideout for your fledgling gang of fellow freedom fighters. Somewhere far ahead of you, out of sight, beyond the winding tubes of porous stone, your companions steel themselves for a clash with Valthuran forces at the Metropolitan Coralite Refinery, where even now the wildcat strike by the refinery's overtaxed workforce faces the brutal retaliation of an agitated empire. But you, unfortunately, have been detained. Quite literally, as none other than Detective Inspector Damien Belisar of the Marabas Security Force has emerged from one of the tunnel's countless obscured nooks. In full police-issue reinforced diving suit, armed with a military-grade Coralite pistol, he was evidently lying in wait, as you had stayed behind a bit to cover your friend's tracks and lock up the way you came. So we rejoin you here in this moment, separated by some unknown distance from your friends in the shadows as he, gun unholstered, pointing directly up, eyes wide, just kind of slinks out of the shadows and approaches you and says, "Are we clear? They're gone? Good." He holsters his sidearm. Now,
I have a
Schoolmaster.
question.
Yeah.
Are we close enough to the sanctuary that it is an implication that we came from the sanctuary?
You get the distinct impression. Honestly, I'm going to say this is the first roll of the day. You're going to make a... Yeah, this is a difficulty 3 intellect roll. This is basically you... It's kind of an equivalent of like a... Can you read his intentions? Do you understand what he may know or not know?
Oh, I have a thing for this. Okay, hold on.
Ooh, a thing.
Ooh.
A skill. It's a skill for discerning disposition of others. So I think that might count as an asset, I believe.
Okay, yeah, okay, that'll take it down to just a level 2 intellect roll. Difficulty 2, target number is 6 now. 6 or higher will get you a success.
Okay. Difficulty 2. Oh, do we use our effort here? Yeah, why not?
Okay. So
Okay.
by using effort, expending some points from the intellect pool, you're taking this down to just a difficulty 1. A 3 or higher on the die will succeed.
Okay.
You got it, Stella.
Nice.
Oh my god!
I rolled a 4.
4.
Oh
Amazing.
my
Okay.
god.
Okay. Fantastic. You are definitely taken off guard. The shock is still setting in, but your wits are still about you to the extent that you can see on his expression. I'm gonna actually give you a little bit more. You can read his expression, his body language, even through the sort of like only translucent visor on the diving suit. You're too close to the first of the sort of like gateways, the sort of bulkheads that have to open to lead inside. If he knows anything about the structure of if he knows the layout and the structure of the Academy of Schoolmasters, he knows where you came from. Like he literally may have watched you exit that bulkhead door. Moreover, on his face, you do not read aggression. He looks in this moment like he's checking, like furtive, like he's making sure, like he's trying to basically establish a connection in this moment. And you actually see as he holsters his firearm entirely, and instead says, "So, Schoolmaster, about that interview, listen. You pardon the terrestrial expression, but it feels like you and I may have got off on the wrong foot. Ever since the day we met, you've been on edge around me, and I'm not just referring to the fact that you broke my hand the day we met. I swear, I harbor no
Wrong hand, wrong foot, maybe.
Listen, I know that all of this has something to do with that reptilian. Bunk. Obvious alias, but damned if I haven't been able to crack it. They've been involved from the beginning. From the train derailment, the industrial accident in Reactor Beta, the explosion at the parade grounds. Everywhere I've dug, just beneath the surface, there's Bunk, a silhouette on the surveillance footage, and the testimony of multiple eyewitnesses every time. Schoolmaster, can I call you Berengaria?
Uh-huh.
Berengaria, I'm not here to arrest you. This isn't an interrogation. It isn't even official police business. He's like looking, like he's in clearly nervous, on edge, looking around, making sure nobody's coming. I'm here of my own volition. I'm acting solely in my own authority. I am here, Berengaria, because I want to help you. However deep you've gotten into this whole mess, I'm here to help pull you back out. I want to bring that monster to justice.
Wait, you're saying that you're not supposed to be here, then? You can't just be wandering around the facility without either someone to accompany you or a pass. Where's your pass?
And you can't, I'm sorry, be consorting willingly with known criminals and miscreants and vandals, and I know you're not a criminal. Listen, I'll admit, when you dropped that flash grenade back at the dean's office, I was surprised.
Oh, is that what it was? I say this with complete honesty. Oh, I didn't know. I found it on the floor.
I will say, if you are attempting to directly dissemble here, if you're trying to get something past him, normally the base difficulty for any roll against Damien Belisar is difficulty 3. However, I am going to ask, if you're trying to be less than honest with him, that you make an intellect roll to lie. That is difficulty 7.
Oh, no. Berengaria, legitimately fully did not know it was a grenade. However, I do also have tasks related to detecting falsehoods are hindered. Okay, so if he lies to me, I have something that's hindering me. No, I am not trying to lie to him. I just kind of misdirect. I'm definitely playing around it and trying not to answer anything forthcoming. Well, okay. Well, that's a lot to ambush someone in a hallway. And you had a gun.
I had a gun because you were in the company of wanted criminals. Now,
well, I'm not now. Well, hurry for what?
They'll notice your absence, and they're going to come looking for you. Now, listen, I know that there's a lot I don't know. I did some digging. I figured that if you had reason to do what you did back at the dean's office, I could find out, but...
I'll be honest, you scared me. You were very frightening with your very unprecedented appearance, and I thought you would probably be very mad at me because I broke your hand. Allegedly.
I was there, you broke my hand, but like I said, there's
so sorry.
No... It's fine. That's fine. We're losing the plot here. Listen, I don't know who you are, not really, but I know that you're somehow important.
Berengaria.
You're important to Imperial interests. It's the strangest thing. I tried looking you up. You know your records from before your time at the Academy? Do you realize they're sealed? They're classified? They're above my pay grade? Filed away in Ostara, of all places. Topside.
Well, that's interesting information.
So, I don't need to know what I don't need to know. But I can tell you that whatever Bunk and their band of criminal miscreants have on you, I promise they can no longer extort you. They cannot hurt you. I can see to that. Just let me take you into protective custody, and with your help, we can bring that menace to heel.
I don't really want to go anywhere with you. You ambushed me in a hallway with a gun.
At this point,
I'm definitely stalling at this point.
Yeah, if you're like this is going to basically, let's make this kind of like a defensive deception kind of a task here.
Yeah.
He is a trained detective and can his one thing he's particularly good at, maybe not reliable in a fight, but you can definitely count on him to see through deception. So
it's probably very obvious that Berengaria sweating underwater.
Yeah, so let's make this an intellect task, difficulty 7, to see if he can tell whether or not you are stalling for time.
Okay. Counter offer.
Okay.
Could I use my pleasant social interaction? Because I am being very pleasant and non-violent here as an asset.
I can say that would... Do you or do you not have a hindrance when you're trying to lie? Or do the equivalent
It's detecting
when you're
falsehoods.
detecting. Okay,
Yeah.
then I will say that counts as an asset. Yes.
I need all
You
the
are-
help I can get.
In this moment, you are leveraging all of your pleasantries, all of your sort of like high society manners to try and like diffuse the innate tension of the situation.
I'm just like,
So yes,
no.
that takes it down to a difficulty 6,
Okay.
which will require an 18, 19, or 20 on the die to
Oh
succeed.
my god. Okay, and then I will use a level of effort here.
Okay, that's going to take another couple points off of the intellect pool, but yes, you can do that, taking it down to difficulty 5. 15 or higher will
Come
now
on.
succeed.
Oh god.
Okay.
Yeah, but you got it though.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah, you got it.
Like this.
Easy.
Oh.
I shouldn't have said anything. I'm sorry. It shouldn't be me. That's
I rolled a
So on a-
10.
On a 10, I'm going to give you one more roll. This is not to change the outcome of this, but this is to basically kind of, how does the opposite end of this go? He's basically his sort of like trained insight on you is going to pierce through any kind of veil of deception you may have had. In return, make another roll at the same difficulty 5 to see how well you read his reaction to this.
Okay. I rolled a 12.
Okay.
I think
His-
it makes sense. Berengar is very nervous right now.
His expression is inscrutable. You have no idea in this moment what he's feeling, but you can see as he slowly closes his eyes and reaches for the pistol again, hand hovering over the pistol as he said, I had sincerely, truthfully, I had given you the benefit of the doubt. I'm no longer asking. And this is no longer protective custody. I'm going to need you to come with me. There are going to be a great many questions that I have to ask you. And I apologize in advance that they're not going to be as sociably asked as they might have been. And he slowly begins to like draw his weapon.
I'm going to try to hit him with my whalebone staff. I'm going
Yeah.
to specifically try to hit his hand.
Yes. Oh my god. Last time you did this, you had a Cypher to help you, but this time it is
I
a
don't have
might task.
anything. Yeah.
It is a might task difficulty 3.
Oh man, y'all, my pools are running low. Okay. Difficulty 3, I will use I'll use some of my might points here. So I'm down to 3 might to bump it down a level.
Okay.
Level of effort. You said
Okay.
3, now it's
So-
2, right?
Now it's level 2. A 6 or higher on the die will get this for you.
All
You
right.
got it. Here we go.
Oh my god!
That's 3 in a row.
Wow.
Okay.
I rolled a 5.
Oh.
Your arched whale bone staff begins to like up the various sort of myriad veins of imbued coralite begin to glow as you grip it a bit tighter. Unfortunately, he sees you readying into a sort of slightly more aggressive stance and pulls the weapon real quick and has it trained directly at you. You're gonna have to drop that right now.
Okay. I drop it.
It floats away.
It floats away slowly.
Like, is there another way out of here where we don't have to follow your friends?
Nope.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Okay.
One way in, one way out.
Okay. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to swim ahead of me,
Mm-hmm.
and if you try anything, I will not hesitate. If we see them, if they try and double back, if any one of them is going to try and pull some kind of foolhardy rescue, I want them to know, and I want you to know. I am not going to accept defeat. Not now. Not again.
Okay, I want to do something here. So
Okay.
like as I'm dropping the whalebone staff, I would like to like kind of put my hands up, but I'm definitely turning my comms on.
Yes!
Oh,
Do a
yes,
little
yes, yes,
sleight of
yes.
hand here.
Okay, this is a
Yes.
speed task. It is again difficulty 7.
Okay.
Second stat block is making me grumpy.
It is. He is good at very few things, but the things he is good at, it's
He does very well.
virtually impossible without help or special skills to overcome them.
Okay. All right. I did do a level advancement and got edge and speed, so at least I have that to help me. I will use
That's fantastic.
a level of effort here.
Okay.
All of my stats are single digits now.
Oh,
Okay, so that brings it down to a 6, right?
Yes. So again, 3 times the numbers. That's 18, 19, or 20 will succeed. Anything else, he will notice.
I have nothing else. Jeez. Okay.
Who cares if he sees you turn him on? You'll be able to call to us at least.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
dun, 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 dun,
I
dun.
rolled a
we
3.
we knew it was gonna be hard.
Okay.
We knew it was
Okay.
gonna be hard though.
Okay.
If it helps, I was thinking of like flavoring it. Like I turn it on and I say, I will not bring my friends, and basically like reiterate what he said, and it's probably really transparent.
Yeah. Well, since they're listening, you tell them that if they come doubling back for you, there's going to be no one left to save.
Oh, and he's threatening bodily harm now. Yeah.
You are in league with seditious rebel forces. You have aided and abetted attacks against the Valthuran Empire and the Sonaspari crown. You're a traitor.
Well, allegedly.
These are extraordinary times, and I am within my rights to use extraordinary rendition.
Are you sure? You don't even have a pass.
Hey, Adam, what's the range on a sniper rifle relative to this guy?
I was gonna say,
He
do we hear what he's saying,
Through the communicator. That's
or is it, or do we just get Berengaria's side of it?
you only
How
get
it comes-
Berengaria's
right.
end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Berengaria
direct
knowing
point-to-point
this would
comms.
definitely be like, just basically repeating what he says back
Yeah.
out loud.
No, and like
There's no point
and
in being
he's saying what
subtle.
he's saying specifically because he knows he
Mhm.
wants you to communicate.
Got it. Love it. This is good.
Berengaria, a level 2 intellect task here as a sort of fate roll to see if there's a particular thing that happens.
I don't like this.
I don't want to roll anymore.
6 or higher will do it.
Come on, Stella.
I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to use a level of effort. I have 4 intellect left.
Okay.
Oh my god.
So
I thought we
a
all.
3 or higher will do it.
That's right.
Oh.
Let's go! You're the chosen one.
Okay.
I passed it to Stella.
Oh, yep, I got it now.
Okay. Danny be praised.
Daddy,
Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Danny.
Thank you, Danny.
That's fantastic. Okay.
Really quick point of order. Didn't we all recover at Scritches? Aren't your pools full again, Stella? Or full-ish?
You can use you had the opportunity to use all 4 of your recovery rolls while you were at Scritches, so
Okay, and we can figure that out.
we can figure that out afterwards. This Nat 20 is going to do some pretty wild stuff.
What's it gonna do, huh?
There is, in this moment, as you're kind of back to the wall, panic taking over, you've dropped the whalebone staff, which is now like kind of rested, kind of nestled a bit in the sand at your feet. And as he is clearly, like, you can see in his face, Damien Belisar came here under every hope and expectation that you were acting under duress, that you were every bit the upstanding citizen that he had assumed you to be, and that you were merely caught up in criminal activities beyond your control, extorted by the villain that he has made of Bunk in his mind. And in this moment, you can see he's kind of panicking a bit too. You know 2 things. The first thing is he's bluffing. There's no way in hell he's going to pull that trigger. And the second thing is you can hear something in like the back of your mind. It sounds like a distant whistling almost, like a mournful sort of lilting melody. And as it gets louder, there's a tingling in your hand. One of your hands that you have up, the one actually near your communicator. And as the song takes shape, you can hear that it seems to be connected to the sort of vibration that you're feeling in your hand. You can feel it kind of pulsing louder and louder as the song takes shape in your mind. You pinpoint it's whale song. You're hearing the mournful, lilting song of a pod of whales, but it's in your mind. And as it crescendos, you can see that in the sand at your feet, the coralite veins of the staff are sort of kaleidoscopically glowing various colors in time and in rhythm with the song. And all at once, time kind of stands still for a moment as you lock eyes with him, and the vibration and the tingling in your hand reaches a fever pitch as the crescendo in your mind hits a chorus as multiple other whale voices join in harmony, and the arch whalebone staff returns as if of its own volition to your hand, and you feel yourself guided by some kind of force outside your understanding as you instantly just you score a disarming blow that there's a crack and like a lightning flash of just prismatic chromatic energy as there's some kind of like potential energy turns kinetic on impact as the staff just erupts in color. He is immediately disarmed. The gun is not only flung from his grip, it is shattered as the coralite in it is sort of diffused and rendered completely inert, and it just shatters against the wall behind him of the tunnel. He is wide-eyed in shock, clearly just, gobsmacked. Just as quickly as the crescendo came to a pitch. Yes.
Is his other hand broken?
You bet your ass it is.
Oh, no.
It dawns on him about the same time as it dawns on you. You're like... He buckles over in pain. The staff, the light dies down, the glow recedes, as once again it is just any sort of arcane properties that kind of reared their head in that moment have gone dormant again. But in this moment, there's a sort of like pause as he is just beginning to wail in pain. And then you realize that you have the ability to simply swim away, and he will probably not be able to give any kind of adequate pursuit. He is disarmed.
Okay, bye. And I swim away.
And as he just again groaning in pain. What the?
I'm sorry.
Recovering, your belongings, recovering your sort of nerves, you swim at high speeds, just coursing through this sort of meandering labyrinthine tunnel of porous stone out towards where it opens back up at the foot of the oasis, sort of mound of earth and stone here that forms the sort of base of the center, the heart of the city. Outside, you can just make out against the sort of harsh light without the silhouettes of the remainder of your group, all of whom seem to be, I'll say this much. I'll leave it to the four of you to what extent you were panicking or worried.
I think we turned our comms off. I thought we all agreed to do that, so I'm not sure we heard Berengaria.
Oh.
That is a
I can't
good
remember.
point.
I think we didn't hear.
We didn't turn them back on.
How we weren't traveling super distant from each other, were we though?
No, you all, you still have a grizzled old, scarred up tiger shark from the sanctuary that had kind of been summoned to action by Berengaria. I believe his name is Soy Sauce.
Yes.
Yes.
Who is just kind of floating there, just a little bit of an underbite and jagged, bedraggled teeth. Who's just kind of like floating amidst you there, not really taking any notice or care of any of your presences. But yeah, I feel like the four of you would have been keenly aware of the fact that although Berengaria had to go back and basically do the business of kind of like locking the bulkheads, entering, whatever security, and making sure that there was no evidence that the four of you had been there, she'd been taking far too long. So to see her, like at a breakneck pace, swimming headlong towards the sort of chasm that opens up here into those tunnels, I think that would probably be a bit off-putting.
Just swimming up.
Calliope is sort of trying to figure out whether or not to touch soy sauce.
Yeah.
The shark or not, and turns back and says, Berengaria?
Barry?
There was an ambush in the hallway. The detective, he had a gun, and he
Oh my god!
wouldn't stop talking about you, Bunk. It was very.
Which one? I'm not exactly friends with a lot of law enforcement.
The one that I broke their hand on the train.
All right, so
Do they need to be neutralized?
well,
Did you
I was-
neutralize them?
I was sharpening my spear with a rock like a real badass when Berengaria said,
I guess I did in a way. I don't think he's going to be following us, but I think he's going to be a problem in the future.
well, just stay low for a second. I'll go back and see if you've been followed. It looks like there's like beads of sweat. There's a trail. I'm just gonna go make sure he's not coming with. Can I just like get a little quick
You wanna-
peek at him?
Sure, yeah, you.
And if I bump into him, well, God's will.
Okay, Bunk. Yeah, go ahead and just give me a speed task, difficulty 3, to see how quickly you can kind of make your way back there.
Okay, sure. Speed difficulty 3 sounds fine. Gotta be a 9, yeah?
Yes, 9 or higher.
I'm not gonna waste anything on this. Let's just see. Oop, a 6. I didn't make it.
That's fine. You
I'm not-
double back, not at like a leisurely pace, but I mean, you're not going to exert yourself at this moment. As you know, your friend is safe.
There's more important things. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Berengaria looks uninjured. You can see when you kind of double back towards the sort of bulkhead that leads into the Predator's sanctuary, there are this very obvious debris of a like shattered and like burned out husk of an old just police issue Coralite sidearm that seems to have just been thoroughly destroyed. It looks by some kind of like blunt force knocked into like the stone wall and just exploded. But other than that, you see no.
Coralite core, the gun intact?
No, it is honestly intellect task. This is going to be difficulty 3 as well.
All right.
So you can identify specifically.
These are useful as explosives, so I will expend some effort in this if you don't terribly mind.
Sure.
All right. Perfect.
6 or higher will do it.
Yep. Difficulty 2. Oh, that's a 1. Uh-oh.
Okay.
Once
Okay,
again, I'm
Damien.
so sorry.
Let's play, buddy.
So you, Bunk, you've swum over here, and as you kind of crouch down to investigate the ruin that was this pistol, you pick up sort of like the husk of the barrel, and where the Coralite core would have been injected. It is like this blackened husk that looks as though it had been lit ablaze. And as you touch it, I get a free GM intrusion here on a nat 1. I'm going to have you make a speed defense roll, difficulty 4.
Speed defense for me is auto-decreased by 1 level, so we'll make that difficulty 3. And then I will expend additional effort to try and avoid this, which costs now 1 point for me because I leveled up.
Fantastic.
Cool, so that's down to 23. So I've taken it down.
So you've leveled up such that anything that requires speed from you is basically free almost. Like you.
Sorry, man. Yeah.
You can do this all day. Yeah. Okay.
So
sure.
I got to beat a 3. Yeah.
3 will do it.
That's a 16.
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
What happened? So I can describe it like
a flash of recognition.
John Wick.
It's like a flash of recognition crosses your brain as like, you basically have a spider sense moment. As soon as you touch it, you recognize it has been rendered thoroughly destabilized, and is basically just like a hair trigger explosive. What potency remains inside this Coralite core is just. It is on the brink of just like explosive decompression and breakdown. So as soon as you touch it, you have to put distance between you and it. So how do you do that?
So I I touch it and like I see it's like kind of like shaking in my hands about to explode. I toss it up in the air and like kick back. So I kick it as far away from me as possible and let the explosion propel me back toward my friends.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, you are several hundred meters from your friends, but that's fine. Yeah, you like a wheeling kind of like a backflip, kick it up into the water above you, where there is a manageably small explosion, but a thoroughly violent one that just peppers all of the walls of this narrow tunnel with just this like ash white residue. And you can see it like, what's that?
Nothing. I'm just laughing at how this all happened.
Yeah. I will say you have narrowly avoided taking some significant burst damage that seems to be caused by something happened to this Coralite core. That's not normal unstable Coralite. That's not like when you take like a raw core and you kind of eject it from your gun and use it as like an improvised explosive device.
Yeah, something scooped up.
Something about that was inherently like something chaotic happened to it that you cannot explain that rendered it deeply dangerous.
I'll swim back up to my friends and just... Nah, he didn't follow us. We're fine.
In the meantime, just out of reflex, because this is kind of their job, Calliope scans Berengaria for any potential injuries, that does kind of include in that scan the staff. Is there anything weird? Anything weird
That's
happening?
interesting.
Are you overt with your scanning of me? Not necessarily the staff, but of me.
Yeah, I would say like you see Calliope's eye do like a cool zoop zoop thing.
Yeah, Berengaria like T-poses and just has like a big puppy face on like, I was so scared. But I think I'm okay.
I bet.
Garia, you would go ahead and answer for me.
Okay.
If you were being scanned by Valthuran technology, which is by its nature, because of the kind of single-minded priorities of the Empire and their sort of regime of extraction and expansion, very sensitive to Coralite, what would Calliope see in this moment?
Oh,
Because this is the first time you have like done a full equivalent of like a level 1 diagnostic scan of Berengaria herself, right? Like this is something that's not like done in like just as casually among friends. This is a sort of like almost like a deep medical scan, something you've never had cause to do before with them. So
yes. Yeah, I think especially because of what just happened as well. As you scan Berengaria, you see the various levels of the layers of organic material that make her being. And when you get to essentially what is her veins, you do see something unusual. You see coming from her, specifically her left hand, which she was using to hold the staff before, her hand, and kind of radiating down, kind of fading as it gets further and further away, you see this sort of bioluminescence, this sort of glow underneath her skin that isn't perceptible to anyone that's around. But with this scan, you can see that it sort of echoes around her and it's beginning to slowly fade away as if something is becoming dormant. And also the staff is just loaded with the same color.
Yeah, the staff at this point, it's the sort of thing where the sensitivity that you have to adjust your like optics to kind of like get this rapidly fading feedback from Berengaria herself. If you turn at that same sensitivity and try and scan the staff, it's like looking directly into the sun. It's like whatever that same phenomenon is like amplified several orders of magnitude within the staff.
Yeah, Calliope, like you just see Calliope's face like,
Yeah.
like eye goes wide, face darts back and forth between the staff and Berengaria. Wrist, please. Your blood pressure is normal. Heart rate is... Oh, it's high because you just did cardio.
I was so scared.
Yeah, my bad. Huh. And it's gone.
My heart rate is gone?
No, your heart rate is fine. No,
Oh.
sorry. I thought... do you feel strange? Or...
No. I feel fine.
Okay. Calliope shoots a very nervous look to Bahari, actually. And
Oh, Jay, you're muted.
you're muted.
Bahari has been like watching this whole time and wondering if it's weird to ask if she can look too, because the way that Coralite seems to be interacting with Berengaria is different than it ever has before, and it's really interesting.
Yeah, Calliope like does a little nod over, like, hey,
Swim.
can
How
do you
far away
wanna
are we
check
from
my
each other?
Oh, Calliope lets go of the wrist. And says, just a moment, I'm going to speak with Bahari.
Oh, okay.
Do you know a lot about Coralite?
Yes.
Good. Well, Berengaria's body scan showed a glow not dissimilar from Coralite, but not exactly. My scanners aren't very well equipped for a lot of the certain anomalies, the energetic anomalies of the underwater. So, do you know anything about that staff that they carry around?
Yeah, so coralite is something that all of us underwater folks are connected to. It's like a real part of our life force, our ecosystem. And Berengaria is a magical person, but also like very much in tune with the way that energy flows through it. And it looks like she seems really shaken up, and I think that possibly in a moment of great stress, she might have been able to access a deeper connection with the network of energy that makes up our ecosystem through the coralite staff that she has. And I don't think it doesn't look like she's been harmed, but most people can't process that much energy all at once. And I'm looking at the capability her staff has, and the output could be immense. But Berengaria is really strong, so I think she can do it. I think she did do it, and I just want to make sure that she's okay. Berengaria, would you like a snack?
I think what would be really funny is while you say those exact words, in the background, Berengaria has like a bag of like fried kelp.
Is it kelp chips?
That she can't open, and she's like asking Rasubi to open it for her.
And I'm just like,
I think Berengaria is gonna need a lot of food from what just happened. It's kind of like you've just been running a marathon, but through coralite processing. But I think she's gonna be okay. And I don't know what you did, but Berengaria, you're a superhero.
Bunk is gonna just gingerly take the kelp chips and, using the ancestral blade of their family, cut the kelp Cheetos open, and then pass them to Berengaria and say, 2 birds, 1 stone. For one, looks like you gave that detective what for again. Nothing left of his gun and no sign of him, so that's something. And Rasubi Bahari, this is for you. The coralite core in that gun was I don't think it was broken, but I think it was experimental. It was highly unstable. It near exploded my damn face off. So
gosh.
Which it ain't great on the surface for anything ecologically speaking, but also might be able to be useful to our advantage if we need to goof up something big. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to transport that one because it was about at the point of destruction when I picked it up. But I managed to kick it. There might be residue on my boot. We can see what they've been doing to it. And I'm not suggesting we ever remake anything like that because it is abominable, but maybe blow up a submarine, if they're running bigger guns.
I wonder if the reaction you saw is an interaction not only from it being unstable, but from the power that Berengaria was able to access, connecting with the coralite in the gun and realizing that it's wrong and taking the life force back.
It might have to be a talk for another day and when we have access to a laboratory. Right now, I kind of fear for what we saw on the tube.
affirmative. I observe that we have spent 20 minutes since leaving.
As the eel flies.
Before you go, 2 quick things. These are just going to be... I have a couple of roles that I'd like, one Bunk and one Bahari, just like a couple of things to kind of knowledge checks. But first, just so you all know, because, it's been a minute here, the time you spent kind of resting and recuperating and kind of trying to come up with your next moves within the sort of shark sanctuary when you were kind of conversing with Scritches and everything, that was time adequate enough, I'm ruling, for you to use all of your remaining recovery dice. So if you had any remaining of that day's worth, you can go ahead and use those to kind of patch yourselves up, especially given that, where you're headed next. So if you had any of those remaining of your, I think it's 4 maximum per day that you can use here. We're just going to rule that you can use those now.
Yeah, I blew through all those for
I'm
sure.
doing it now.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
And then, Bunk, this is more about what you notice around the site where the detective had been, Detective Belisar. Go ahead and just give me an intellect task. It's going to be difficulty 5.
Okay.
These are basically to like see if you noticed something. And then the same thing for Bahari. This is gonna be an intellect task. This one's also gonna be difficulty 5, just to kind of see if there's a certain insight you may or may not have had from your observation of Berengaria in that moment.
All right. Would you like to go first, Jay?
Oh boy.
I can go. I'm ready if you want me to.
Go ahead. I'm getting
All right.
myself ready right now.
Adam, I'm going to expend some effort and intellect, taking my intellect pool down to 4. Heaven help me. So that's a 12 or higher, yeah?
12 or higher will do it.
Come on, Bunk. Let's go, baby. 20!
Hey!
All right.
Wow.
Easy.
Nice.
Again, I'm
What
going
up,
to give
Danny?
you...
17?
Yeah. Thank you, Danny.
Thank you, Jenny.
All right. Oh, this is fantastic. Love that. So, for Bunk, you recognize that there was no other main access, sort of like main exit or entrance. Basically, for Damien Belisar to have gotten away, he either needed to somehow like hack his way into the sanctuary, which seems unlikely in the time given, especially if he did really have another broken hand, as Berengaria described, or he has intimate knowledge of the entire sort of substructure of the sort of porous stone that makes up the tunnel works and the sort of like the body, like the earth and stone portions of the oasis at the center of the city, which would imply that he maybe had the ability to like slip away through some kind of like smaller sort of cracks in the substructure, which again would imply that he hasn't like extensive knowledge of that matches or surpasses your own of the same areas that you've been moving through. On a nat 20, I'll also tell you his appearance was clearly no coincidence. He must have followed all of you there, which means that is no longer a viable place for you all to meet. And the way for him to have followed you there means that he has to have followed you from somewhere. And given his obsession with you, you have a feeling that wherever you came from may also be compromised.
Is K. Pollock still there?
Yes, he is. For Bahari, on a success, I will say that typically the idea of certain Sonaspari people being able to tap into the energy of Coralite to perform something akin to magic, it's not unheard of, but it usually requires and then consumes a certain measure of Coralite to do so. Like, you have to basically use the equivalent of like somatic spell components. You'd have some amount of Coralite that you would then permanently expend in order to create some kind of effect. That is clearly not what happened here. Whatever happened with Berengaria seems to have been an internal biological process, and does not seem to have permanently expended anything, which is unprecedented in your research.
That's why I said superhero. And the fact that the only thing that seems to have been negatively impacted was the target of the attack, not her. That is amazing.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing that would be like to whatever extent you want to reveal or hide this sort of like, the first thought would be like, oh, there's so much research potential in Berengaria. Like, there are a million papers that could be written about this person. But that's kind of the level of uncanniness of what they were able to accomplish. But yeah, with all that in mind, you all have made your recovery rolls. Risubi's not lying. You resolved when you left that place to hurry to the aid of a civilian laborer movement that is under potential military threat, and every minute you spend kind of lollygagging is people who could be getting hurt.
You know, Adam, you said exactly what I was gonna say through Risubi.
Fantastic.
Do we all? If everyone's ready to go,
said that.
Cool. Yeah. It looked really awesome when he did, and really convinced all of us to go. I'm ready to go. As we're swimming, I would just say to Rasubi, you keep any weaponry in your hideaway?
Only backups.
Good to know. Let's press on.
What does that mean?
Bunk.
Berengaria and Soy Sauce, who who through that whole conversation was completely inert, just floating there, staring into the middle distance.
Just go belly up for a second, and we're like, wait,
Yeah.
is he? Nah, he's back.
As you approach from the south, making your way towards the north end of the dorsal district, you're moving from basically the dead center of the city to the northern extremity of the city, which means that unless you want to work with me to come up with some kind of alternative transportation that could get you there faster, we're talking over an hour of transit time. If you all are just kind of like moving under your own power. So, if anyone has any ideas, pitch them at me right now. But otherwise, I'm going to assume that basically an hour has passed as you all are basically like booking it through whatever sort of like, side streets, alleyways, kind of.
Adam, like Marty McFly in Back to the Future 2 and Back to the
Where this
Future 1
started?
was able to grab onto the back of pickup trucks and other automobiles to propel himself at higher speed. And we're underwater, so I don't even need a skateboard to do it.
So what you're asking is, do you want to each try and drift behind the slipstream shuttle buses through the express lanes of the city?
I feel like that might get unwanted attention. Because there's like more than one of us doing this. So where are those folks going, right?
I feel like this is a thing that like just hoodlums do, right?
Instead of
Five
calling
people
Lyft,
and
since
an-
we're
and an
underwater, you
entire-
want to call Drift? You could call Drift to have a fun drift driver take us down.
There's like a no drifting, like no parking signs all over the city.
One of us has to hold soy sauce like between our legs or something. So
Soy sauce is, again, 8 feet long. So, like...
8 foot
No, it's
long
Vesuvi.
shark.
Yeah. This is a Vesuvi-sized tiger shark.
I'm really interested to see what happens after an hour of transit. Not gonna lie.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean...
We all
I guess,
take the bus. Like that's it.
If we're
But
going
that's the
like
thing.
through the
It'd be
city,
so cute.
I think
It
I'd
really
have
would.
to get like a blanket to put on the shark or something.
Oh yeah, no, the shark is definitely, that's the thing. You'd have to, I'm assuming an hour if you basically move through like the move subtly through the city in ways that like Bunk, I'm assuming you would just, it's almost like in D&D when you have a ranger who can move people through like their favorite environment without like having to make as many stealth rolls. It's a similar thing. You have made so many back alley deals and like have met people furtively in secret locations that like you would know the places to move unseen.
Do you know what I know? Can I write a story?
Please.
I know for sure there is a water filtration system that has been tapped and repurposed. It was redundant. So another one was been built, but no one ever bothered shutting off the old one. And it has been repurposed by the underground as like rapid transit. If you want to do something really dangerous and go through a tube system.
I love this.
You can get spat out somewhere on the other side of the city.
So it's actually
reclaimed
built
infrastructure, baby. Yeah.
This is actually, built into the substructure of the new slipstream express lanes that the shuttle buses and taxis all run on. So there are basically there's these portions of like 10 feet wide and then like 50 feet high, like these corridors where currents are manipulated by vents on either side and correlite barriers that basically create a sort of vacuum tube that basically create very swift running currents in these basically like highway lanes. These replaced what were previously like just normal sort of lanes cleared for normal traffic.
Like the urchin kids names them like whoopsers or something. We gotta go catch a whoopser.
So for you, what you have to do now is, I love this. Bunk recognizes that there is a northbound slipstream lane that has a reclaimed portion where there's like some of the air filtration, some of the water filtration systems that basically recycle the water in these rapid currents, moves through these tubes that you all could technically fit in that run underneath the roadway, run underneath the sort of like bottom portion of these sort of like swift running corridors. If you want to make use of this, I will need from each of you speed tasks of difficulty 4 to avoid taking physical damage as you are pulled faster than you would actually be able to manage.
Can we say it's dangerous? Like if you don't time it right, like it gets super heated to like purify it and you don't want to be in it when it gets real hot.
It basically, you're basically being pulled through like a watery vacuum tube. And if you lose control of your sort of pitch and yaw, you could like end up banking into and like ricocheting off of walls and getting like hurtled into pieces of like jutting metal. So it could move you very quickly, but you would be putting yourself at risk of bodily harm unless you are particularly agile. It's like a daredevil thing to do around.
Yeah, it's that's why I call them whoopsers, because sometimes whoops, you're dead.
Oh god. Fatalities
Oh
are not that common, okay? It's like
Wow. Okay.
I'm sure that's very comforting to the mothers of the people who get chopped up in there. This is very uncommon.
We all go in, and then what exits the other side is just a steaming bowl of sundubuchige.
Oh god.
With
Full
one
on
cowboy
SpongeBob
hat
humor, yeah.
just balanced on top.
so I'll say if you want to
I mean,
you
I'm
can
down.
cut-
This sounds
I'm
fun.
so
Okay.
down.
cut transit. Yeah, you
I'm
can
down.
probably-
Yeah.
This
do
is
this.
great.
Mind you, if
This-
I roll low and I fail, I'm rolling again to see how if I can phase through it.
Exactly. No, you
fantastic.
got options. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
If you
Difficulty
are
4?
able to do this, it's a difficulty 4 speed task for each of you to attempt to basically move through this while maintaining control of your own bodies. If you succeed, and it's basically like the size of like an abandoned subway tunnel. If that gives you an idea of like, it's like the underground infrastructure, but the whole thing is just like piping through a current of extreme speed.
There's like squid ink graffiti on all the walls and stuff.
Oh, sick.
Bahari's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
roll up like a
The-
flauta and be like,
Yeah, the only people who can tag down here are like cephalopods who can like suction themselves to the walls so that they can tag the walls there. But yeah,
I
okay.
high five every single one of them as I go through.
So yeah, if you by taking this route, you're putting yourself at bodily harm, but you will get there in such a way that it will change the point in the narrative at which you arrive on the scene. So
I love it.
Now we got to.
yeah.
okay.
I have a question.
Mhm.
As a caretaker of many sharks, clearly I've went shark riding. Can I ride soy sauce? Or can soy sauce help
that's-
me somehow?
I'm sorry, that's too cool. Yeah, soy sauce is going to count as an asset for you, reducing this to a difficulty 3. Bunk, you like this is a speed defense roll, so you're
with-
trained in that. So that's
And then
what-
effort on top of that, so it's difficulty 2 for me.
difficulty 2 with effort. For everyone else, it's base 4 unless you have any skills or effort you want to apply.
Making my body as aerodynamic as possible, turning into a little tube of speed.
I will use effort.
Okay.
Oh.
All right, let's see those rolls.
I'm so worried.
Oh!
Oh, applying
How?
effort.
Anyone got experience?
Yes, I do.
Oh my god!
Oh, okay.
I rolled a 1.
I rolled a 3.
What is
I rolled a
happening?
6. I just made it.
What? Oh my gosh.
I'm going to. Okay, first.
At the risk of impinging upon the purity of the narrative here, I would recommend that you don't allow a nat 1 in this moment.
No, I
Okay.
absolutely, because I
Oh
know
my
these
God.
dudes really well. I'm gonna use my experience to like. I see like the sharp beam that I just ducked under, and Rasubi's about to get impaled, and I will pull out my pistol and I will shoot the beam behind me out of the way.
Oh, that's
so it-
sick.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
No. It was difficulty.
4. So a
Difficulty
12 or
4.
higher succeeds.
See, for a
Unless you
second,
have-
it looks like I'm about to shoot Rasubi. Like I point my gun directly at you, but I shoot the
No.
beam that you're about to hit out of your way. Please.
Rasubi, a
reroll
bunch
that.
of bad stuff looks like it's about to happen all at once. Some of it more confusing than others. Before,
Did we
yeah,
both
like-
just roll a 4? No, you rolled a 10. I
I rolled a 10.
Okay, so
Okay,
now I
Okay,
gotta
so
try to
did
do it
everybody?
intangibly.
Okay. And can I?
I used an XP on Rasubi. Can you use an XP
Yeah.
on?
I'm gonna try to roll again and see if I can just do it without
Can
being
I-
phased
yeah.
into reality. I can't get hurt if I'm just like not there. So
Okay.
just gonna noom through invisibly. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Actually, yeah, I will say, I like that as a safeguard for you, Jay. So if Bahari wants to go ahead and on a failure, you can make a difficulty 5 intellect roll, and if you succeed, you will phase through the incoming obstacle.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Here's hoping this one isn't better.
So, yeah.
Oh!
Wow.
You rolled
There's another
another
4.
Identical failures. Okay.
How
Holy
is this
shit.
possible?
Do we get anything for all these failures we've been running?
Every failure is an
A
XP,
good
right?
laugh.
No, this is not Powered by the Apocalypse. This is not Monster of the Week.
Every GM intrusion gets us
you're
an
right.
experience.
Also-
That's right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I am giving an experience to Berengaria.
Oh, thank God.
Okay. Calliope's just like this font of rejuvenation in this moment. You are truly selfless.
Can I give multiple experience?
Well, we need a reroll from
Yeah.
from
Rasubi.
Rasubi,
Yeah.
because you've already
Yeah.
been gifted an experience for the reroll, and then you have one given to Berengaria here. As long as you have XP, you can
Christian.
expend it.
Okay,
So
I
Christian,
also-
if you roll a 1, I shot
Hey,
you. So
good
don't
one.
roll a 1.
Yeah, I'm re-rolling. Hold on.
Okay.
Stella!
So
I'm also gonna
All
give
right.
one to Bahari.
Bahari? Okay.
Oh, thank you.
So remembering the train incident, which happened not that long ago.
We're talking about we're like 6 hours ago is when that
Yeah.
happened. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so-
Coffee's gonna whip.
Okay, I'm gonna re-roll this.
It's gonna be great.
I
gonna be
have a plan if it's another one.
Okay.
Oh, God.
I love that.
Why would you say that out loud?
Why?
I'm tempting the gods.
Oh, not this time.
Oh.
Okay,
You both rolled 5s.
So,
it's a 5.
I can't
Okay.
believe this.
What is happening right now?
We're getting all the bad ones out of the way.
We're having a rough time.
Can I?
Each
Can
of
I?
you-
Bouncing around in there.
Whoopsies.
Each
Did
of you
I
is going to
shoot
take
him, Adam?
6 damage to your might pool.
Oh, that's so
Ain't no
many.
thing. Ain't no thing.
It's the equivalent of getting hit by a heavy weapon. As you, unfortunately, Bahari, you roll yourself up, but it does make you more aerodynamic. It does mean that any slight difference in your in which way you're pitched, you go wildly in that direction. So you end up just ping ponging off of the sides of this
Oh,
tube.
God.
Um,
Everything's falling out of my pockets. No.
The snacks. Not the
Risuvi,
snacks.
One just
Um,
grabs your wrist. Leave it!
you're about to get basically you are losing control at this point. This big, heavy, unwieldy mechanical body is not, your controls are not sufficient to overpower the sheer force of the current. Controls are failing. You find that your current trajectory is moving you towards what looks like just a jutting piece of wrenched open metal that is threatening to basically pierce directly into where the squirrel is sitting.
Oh yeah.
Which Bunk is able to shoot off, but you still scrape real hard against where it's where the neck meets the shoulder pad, dealing 6 points of damage. You are spun around in just this sort of screw motion.
And then
Yeah.
just, yeah.
Everyone else is able to, with various levels of panic and just white-knuckled intensity, capable of moving through unharmed. But for everyone else, yeah, that's on the whole a wild and difficult ride. But I will say it does spit you all out at the terminus of the northbound Slipstream Highway, which is basically where all infrastructure of any usefulness ends, which is the dorsal district, where everyone fends for themselves and half of the houses are made out of hollowed out shipwrecks. So that's where we'll meet up with the rest of you as you come out kind of tumbling out of this sort of effectively a drain pipe that just opens into just a trough.
Mhm. Mhm.
I rip
You're
a little
faster,
metal
but
out
at
of
what cost?
I rip a lamprey off my arm that I picked up along the way.
Yeah, there's a bunch of wrappers and splattered sea grapes and stuff that just flew out of Bahari's pocket and into Calliope's face.
Oh, you've got something there. Ooh-ee.
Yeah.
I
That is
need
both
to
the
know
noise it
if
makes
that's
and
the sound,
I
or if you said ooey.
or do you say
Yeah.
ooey?
No, Berengaria says it.
Oh no!
Calliope says, "Thank you."
I'm gonna spend an action to recover. And this looks like Rasubi coming out with duct tape and just wrapping the thing that the tubing that got split and then going back in.
You have the
How
chest
does
plate
Bahari-
opens up, depressurizes, and just you scuttle out and just rapidly. You've already got the duct tape ripped out from your teeth. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
how,
checking in on Bahari.
yeah,
who
how does
got
Bahari look?
put through a cheese grater?
Oh, it's not good, guys. It's not good.
Oh, what's
What's
your
that might
at?
pool looking like? Yeah.
Oh dear. Okay, so at least one of my inside pockets did not completely rip, so I still have some stuff in there. But oh, you mean me? I'm fine. Turns around, blood dripping out of the back of it.
Oh no!
Holy hell!
I don't
Calliope,
feel anything.
No, it doesn't look that bad. It's
That
fine.
is
I feel
adrenaline.
kind of
No,
cold.
you're fine. Yeah, it's not.
I can
no
hug
sun.
you.
no, don't hug, don't.
Maybe
oh,
after
oh,
Bahari,
oh.
maybe after Bahari, and Calliope have a little chat.
Oh,
Bahari,
Okay.
please stand still, or don't stand. You're swimming. Float still.
Okay.
Such a difficult thing to ask.
Calliope, once the food is wiped off and they can fully see, they zoom right to Bahari and use the heal juice given to them
yes.
on that fateful rooftop by Bunk.
Mhm.
Yes, you have a curative salve.
Stole that from a hospital.
Yeah, so
Oh, that's nice.
there's like
So-
there's like a little canister thing, just and Calliope just sprays some random glowy purple stuff on you.
Berengaria's like right next to you, making like.
Now, do you remember the level that you rolled on that? What was the level of the cipher?
I remember that it says specifically restore 8 points to might pool.
That's insane. Yeah, it's a 1d6 plus 2, so that means you rolled max back then. So you have 8 points recovered to your might
sick.
pool.
Oh, thank you. My
pleasure.
hero.
Shucks.
Yeah,
And
so you feel better and then some. Okay, fantastic.
Does anyone else need anything before we get in? I don't want us going unless we're fighting fit.
I am always fighting fit.
I look at your duct taped arm like,
I'm ready.
It looks great.
It looks so good. It's like camo duct tape.
All right.
I go in to give Bahari that hug now.
Oh.
That seals the deal.
Yeah.
Now you feel
before
I'm
we
ready.
body and soul. Yeah.
I didn't mention this at first. If Damien Belisar followed us, he is probably dead inside the whoopser, but it is it has been made clear to me since there was no sign of him when you met him, Berengaria, that he has been dogging us for a while. Rasubi, there's a good chance you cannot go home tonight. And the Lonely Light might not be safe either.
Oh.
We ought to think about where we want to meet up, and I do not think we should turn comms off. Track and be damned, hell or high water, we need to know how to make each other safe.
Oh, that's why nobody.
What?
Then
Nothing.
everyone switches it back on.
I just had my mix on. I can turn it back to social.
Interesting. We leave
So-
all together here today.
We have
will
to.
discuss this later, but
don't split
I'm
up
worried
today.
about Pollux.
If you
I
got
will go
weapons, he'll
check.
find them. You're going to go find him now?
Not right now, no.
Okay, good. I was
Yeah,
kind of
there's a
hoping
lot
you
that-
would help me punch a lot of stuff. So
Yeah. Stakes
should
are really
go.
high now, but yeah, though you have multiple things to worry about, but one thing at a time here.
Yeah.
Shall we save the people?
All right.
it's kind of what we promised them we'd do. So yeah.
Absolutely.
You continue your approach, making your way through the north end of the dorsal district. As you go, I would like each of you, biggest boy soy sauce accepted, to make a level 3 intellect roll to determine your general awareness.
Oofa doofa.
Does my perception take that down to a 2?
Yes, actually. Yep.
Yay!
Anyone with a relative training or a character feature that makes them just kind of aware or perceptive or sharp-eyed, yeah, go right ahead.
I'm trying to see if Overwatch helps me here if I'm looking through my scope. What do you think, Adam? Can you make a ruling on Overwatch helping me out here?
This is as you move, so I will say no.
Okay,
Overwatch requires you to post up.
good deal. Then I'm just gonna roll a flat 3.
I roll a 3. I see nothing.
15, success.
Ah.
Lucky duck.
Okay. Successes for Calliope, for Bunk, for Risubi, a failure from Bahari, and then Berengaria. Did you have a roll here?
Yeah, I do want to use a level of effort.
Okay.
I succeed.
Oh.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. So, Bahari, you're still feeling like that strange kind of that weird itching where like this curative salve is like stitching your wounds shut. So it's a little distracting. But for everybody else, I'll say this before we're going to go for a bit of a break here before we kind of like dive into the this actual sequence. But I will say, as you move, the district, which even under normal circumstances hardly seems bustling or full of life, seems particularly still and silent as you make your way towards the refinery. The old and rusted out Coralite silos and derelict industrial infrastructure stands empty as always, but even the residences, the homes and businesses, as I said, made out of those like hollowed out old shipwrecks or cobbled together from scavenged materials, are all shuttered and locked. Some buildings do give away the telltale signs of occupants holed up inside, bracing as though anticipating a great storm, but you can confirm that the vast majority even, are well and truly empty, as though the better part of the entire city district had somehow emptied overnight during your absence. The sole exception, which you all can see even at great distance, except for Bahari, but they can point it out, is Rhoda's place, the Lonely Light, which, judging by the buzz of activity about it and the shuffling mass of silhouettes you can see through the windows, seems to be both well beyond its maximum occupancy and, strangely, closed. None of the signage is lit. The windows are covered in what appears to, the front-facing windows are covered in what appears to be kind of like blast shield plating. And the reinforced, pressurized main door is shut and like barred. But inside, through what windows are still transparent or translucent, you can see looks like dozens of civilians have gathered. Otherwise, those of you who succeed also can hear far ahead to the north, though you cannot see the refinery yet, this dull roar, this rumbling of just the din of a great crowd. And every once in a while, a crack rippling through the water that may be gunfire, maybe even artillery fire, you're not certain. But something is either happening or about to happen. And we're going to have to figure out what that is when we come back from a quick break. So, in the meantime, let's all grab some water, take a quick stretch, and brace ourselves.
We'll be back in 5 minutes, everyone. Be back.
That's 5.
And we have returned. We're going to pick up here with the back half of session 9 of Brine and Blight. As we rejoin Risubi, Bunk, Bahari, Calliope, Berengaria, and the press-ganged into service, or asked nicely into service, ancient old weathered tiger shark soy sauce. As this collection of ne'er-do-wells and rebellious just miscreants are approaching now at long last after a dangerous trip through what you described as, what is it, an industrial cheese grater, basically hijacking a little bit of outdated city infrastructure to at risk of life and limb whoosh your way due north into the dorsal district. You're making your way now towards the Metropolitan Coralite Refinery, where an ongoing wildcat strike is under extreme duress and immediate danger from amassing Imperial forces. I did say just before we went to break that several of you did notice that it seems like most of this district has been emptied out of all of its residents. A lot of the houses stand locked, shuttered, empty, vacant. It seems like there's a great number of civilians that may have taken shelter at the Lonely Light, Rhoda's place. But beyond that, there's clearly not capacity there for everyone in the district. So otherwise, there's this eerie sense of moving through a kind of a ghost town. But you also hear some concerning, rumbling, explosive sounds coming from farther north at the refinery itself. So assuming the rest of you all want to continue moving that direction, we can pick right up as you approach.
Can I do something as we're moving forward?
Yes,
it only
absolutely.
takes a minute to complete, so I imagine as we're swimming along that I say, okay, everyone, in case it's relevant, remember that violence is not always the answer, or it's an option. It's always optional. There are times where sometimes you want to talk people down and try to diffuse the situation, ... And I would like to use anecdote, which is one of my special abilities. Essentially, for the next hour, those who pay attention to your story are trained in a task you choose that's related to the anecdote, as long as it's not an attack or defense task. I want the specific task to be to diffuse a situation, to try to use social interaction, try to convince someone, maybe with your muscles, maybe your words, but essentially...
Bunk very sadly puts their gun away.
So
Subi removes
for the next hour, this is something you already have training in Berengaria as a result of your sort of like pleasant social interaction skill. So effectively, you've shared that with the group here. If you make a move, like a diplomatic move, even like a move to intimidate someone to back down, anything of that sort, if you're trying to avoid direct conflict or violence, you are trained in that. Those tasks will all be one level easier for the next hour.
Use words, not violence. Maybe.
Adore that.
Oh, I think what would be really fun is like perhaps Bahari, maybe Bunk, maybe Calliope. As she's saying this, you see like these tiny, minuscule little particles, almost like pixels, kind of glowing around her. You could swear, are they cyan in color or what? Blink, blink. Oh, they're gone. What was that?
That's so cool.
Berengaria is magical.
Truly.
No, you.
So,
do we hear like ringing gunfire as Berengaria is giving this very good advice? But...
As you near the perimeter of the refinery, it becomes obvious where everyone is gone. Here, throngs of people from the surrounding community have gathered into a sprawling crowd, which has currently interposed itself between the refinery gates, and what you can see is amassing Valthuran forces to the northeast. The Metropolitan Coralite Refinery itself looks like, honestly, like a war zone. There are makeshift barricades that are constructed from sort of like deconstructed scaffolding, loose plate metal, repurposed like piping and like radiation-proof insulation and all of this kind of like lining the entrances to the hangars and the main gates to the central building, where it looks like there's like a good half of the laborers at the refinery here have all fallen back to either take cover, maybe tend to wounds from what appears to have been an initial sort of phase of conflict. You arrive, thanks to your rapid transit hack, at a lull where it seems like there's no active combat taking place, where it seems like it's kind of been reduced after an initial clash to a kind of like both sides have retreated a bit, and there's a sort of a moment of tension where it's not clear what's going to happen next. Everywhere you do hear, though, the wail of sirens, the din of the crowd, and the low rumble of engines from what appear to be armored submersibles that are kind of moving in to that northeast sort of entrenched position, signaling perhaps an impending Imperial push. And already there are dozens of additional infantry fire teams that are deploying from incoming transport ships that are then taking up strategic positions and loading weapons for what looks to be an uncompromising military assault.
We didn't take down an entire prison tower just so all these people could get dragged up to Ostara. If they all keep clustering up here, they're going to get taken in. The only way to beat the Valthuran forces is to make sure that there are multiple points of dissidence throughout the city. They can't corral that, but if everyone's stuck here and dug in, it looks like that's what they want. We got to get people to move.
Understood.
Honestly, with like Bunk already giving tactical appraisals here, I am, Trout, going to ask you to make...
That's just Trout saying shit that I know.
What I will say is...
It's very true.
It is super true.
Yeah, just
I will
in
say,
case you need to know that about other gatherings you might go to.
I will say this. I'm going to count that tactical appraisal as an asset here. So it was going to be a difficulty 4 intellect task here to see if you can pick up on some additional details. It's now 3. So go ahead and make that roll, see if you can get some additional details.
I probably don't need too much more int. I'm going to blow 2 more and take that down to 3 if you don't. Wait, it's at 3 right now? Take it down to 2? Sorry, what was the difficulty again? No, what was the difficulty again?
It was difficulty 4 initially. You took it down to 3 because I gave you an asset for the tactical appraisal.
So now it's down to 2.
Effort would take it down to 2, which would make the target number 6. Oh, you're good.
I forgot what you had said with your mouth. All right, difficulty 2. 14.
Oh,
14.
Did you want to do something?
No, I was gonna say maybe I can help you out even more, but you got it.
Honestly, I'm going to say that I'll I'll take that into account. However, like Calliope, you kind of swim alongside Bunk as they're kind of, trying to like aim down sights, trying to get a sense of through your magnified scope, and then with the sort of like the scanning potential and the sort of like magnified vision that you have at your disposal, Calliope, the two of you together can see through the sort of like gaps in the refinery walls. It looks like it's been like partially disassembled, like in a big hurry. It seems like portions of the structure itself have been like torn down to create these barricades. Like this is a desperation move. You can see through that scope there, Bunk, that the refinery workers you can see inside appear to be armed with like improvised weapons, like anything that could scavenge from like the power tools and the reactor hardware. They are clearly significantly outgunned. But they're not alone. With your arrival here, I mean, you got a massive tiger shark in tow. As you come within eyeshot of a lot of the people in the sort of like thronging crowds here, you're turning a lot of heads. But I mean, it's clear to the two of you that it's, increasingly so, that the big benefit that you've provided here is the message that you broadcast to every screen and every radio in the city last night has had a much greater impact here than your individual presence ever could. And I'll also say,
I know you don't want us to split up, but it's the only way we're going to get people out of here. If we cluster up, we're done for. It's what they want us to do.
Can I find out if the Valthuran forces are trying to... Are they setting up a capturing maneuver? Or is this fully a neutralization, like long range?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
Good question.
For that one is going to be your own difficulty 4 intellect task, which I'm going to count your knowledge, your significant comprehensive knowledge of Valthuran military tactics as an asset. So let's make that a 3. One other thing I'll say while you're making that roll, Bunk, you do sight through your scope here several familiar faces among the crowd of sort of like protesters and supporters. It would seem at least some portion of those that you released from the Rapalia Imperial Penitentiary have caught on that there is this strike happening and are maybe looking for some immediate opportunities to deliver some comeuppance.
That's bold. Dang.
You can also see, because you would probably be privy to the same circles that Rasubi moved in the kind of the underground here prior to everything going down. So you'd be familiar with Vin Marinthos, the host and MC of the Dorsal District's local underground prize fighting scene. It looks like he's rallying a squad of some of the sort of like bulkier, buffer like Ostracans and like the full-on like prize fighter crew. They're all like, Vin Marinthos is trying to like rally them, whip them up, getting ready to like hold the line. What was that roll from Calliope?
It was good.
It was good. It was a 15.
15. Okay. Your appraisal of the situation is, the way that there's too many infantry units that are being deployed here for this to be a simple sort of like neutralization. You can clearly see that they're armed with lethal rounds. This is like a live ammunition kind of situation. They're not here to take prisoners necessarily, especially because it seems that with the destruction of the penitentiary, capacity for sort of live prisoners may actually be significantly smaller now. But there's not a lot of artillery. You spot a single aquatic tank. It's an HMR-34 loggerhead, which has limited artillery capabilities. They're not going to risk damaging the refinery that powers their own systems. That this is too valuable. Clearly, they're going to value saving the hardware over taking people alive. But it looks like they're going to make a push with a lot of infantry instead of trying to deal long-range damage at the risk of harming the infrastructure.
Okay. And so mostly the tank is there for dispersal and also taking care of stragglers?
Yes. Yeah, that's the sort of thing where it seems that this thing is here for the intimidation factor, for potentially dealing if there's a push where if there's a massive move by the sort of striking workers and their supporters to try and push towards the entrenched position, the loggerhead tank could potentially deal massive damage to them. But it doesn't look like it's going to try and fire on the refinery itself, which is why it seems like they've been very intelligently holding up inside the walls of the refinery, where the Empire will not risk dealing damage.
I see. Okay. Calliope looks at everyone and says, we need to find out what the workers want, if we can help them get it faster, and get everyone out. Because we can't hold down the fort. We cannot. They have a tank.
We can thin their forces by implementing the strategy that Trout, Bunk. Sorry,
Who?
it's
Trout.
Where?
I heard they're
Where?
super cool, whoever they are.
They are super cool. That Bunk had posited. They will need to peel off their forces if we distribute them across Erebus, weakening the defenses here, and we can get further inside.
Greater visibility, too. If they keep us all corralled up in Dorsal, it's easy to black out news on this.
Do we end the strike there? Do we tell them to duck and hide away, or does it just continue but scattered?
I think it should continue but scattered. This is a fledgling movement. If we blow out the flame now, I don't know how it survives. I think if we scatter, it's harder for them to maneuver around to corral people.
Okay. Calliope looks at the refinery and looks at the rest of the team and says, lead the way.
Okay.
Phew. I'm just gonna really quick look to Berengaria and Bahari and make sure. You comfortable with this? You feeling good?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're gonna save a lot of lives by getting them out of danger, but making sure that they understand that we're gonna keep fighting. We just can't just all stay in one place because it's too easy to get wiped out.
You got it, sister.
Okay.
If I may make a suggestion, try to sound as you did in the broadcast. Maybe they will recognize your voice and listen to you.
Good idea.
All right.
As you approach further, before you can disappear and intersperse into the crowd or make your way towards the sort of like barricades to see if you can entreat with any kind of organizers or leaders there might be, just as you're kind of reaching the edge of the assembled civilians here, a single artillery shot from the loggerhead aquatic tank rings out over the chaos, the iridescent violet-hued shell erupting into a trail of chemical fire high overhead. After a fraction of a second's delay, the shuddering rocks its way through the refinery grounds, sending a sudden hush rolling over the crowd. A moment's pause gives way to the crackling of a loudspeaker, a little bit of microphone feedback, and then a lone voice projected from somewhere behind the Imperial line. Attention, Sonaspari workers! Your foolish attempts to occupy, damage, and destroy Valthuran property is futile and dangerous. Please do not underestimate the gravity of the situation. I do not exaggerate when I say that we are within our legal authority to engage you with lethal force. We need not be enemies. Our peoples are aligned by treaty and pact. We do not wish you any further harm. You need only lay down your arms, rescind control of the refinery, and submit your leaders for questioning. You have 15 minutes to voluntarily disarm, or we will be forced to engage with the full capabilities of our assembled forces. And just as it began, sort of a little crackling, a little feedback, the voice fades.
Can I say, as soon as that goes off and there's a hush, as the announcement starts going through, I tap the first person that I see.
Okay. There is a kind of a reef shark-esque merfolk wearing like what looks like they actually tried to like make makeshift sort of like body armor or like shoulder pads. Like it looks like sports gear that they brought to this, and they've got like basically a crowbar. And they turn around, wheel around to face you, and like immediately freeze as they see like your stature.
You are angry. Take everyone that you can. Bring that anger to the city square. Go.
Okay. They They
Come
eye
on.
you quizzically. I am going to require you to make what would normally be a difficulty 3 intellect check to see if you can convince them. This is going to be, thanks to anecdote, taken down to 2.
Smart Stella.
And
Hell
can I
yeah.
help? From over Rasubi's shoulder, Berengaria pops out her head. Please?
And from over your shoulder, a grizzled old tiger shark rises up.
It's intimidation, and then intimidation again.
Yes.
It's sugar, spice, and everything nice.
It's the sandwich method.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So that goes from that. That goes from 3 to
1.
1. Okay.
Yeah, you have to roll a 3 or higher, and you succeed at this.
Oh my god.
I got plenty of intellect in the pool. I'm gonna spend an effort to just make this a flat success.
Yeah!
Let's go.
Expending effort. You don't. Yeah, like there is no chance that you're not going to. All you're doing is just slightly redirecting a lot of energy that was already there. You can see what was fear and hesitance at first as he sees that you are approaching, like, with this group, with this, like, assemblage, like...
We look like the fucking Power Rangers. Like, that's...
like, yeah, like, it looks like the enforcers have arrived, like, the cavalry's ridden up.
Got the
And so, like, they have this look in their
JoJo
eyes
poses.
that's like...
We're all doing JoJo's.
Yeah. What begins as fear, trepidation, like uncertainty, like hardens into just like a fiery resolve, and they get this like toothy grin on their face and just kind of like slap the crowbar against their open palm, like, you got it.
Ooh, as they're about to leave, I'll give them a shark tooth.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is how it starts. It's a sign.
They see you, they see soy sauce, they see you hand them this particular tooth, and like they don't know what, but they can tell like this means something.
Yeah.
And you can feel like a little bit of like a shift in this moment as they clutch it. Come on! And like just rallying everyone that was with them, a bunch of other just kind of like, you know, like raggedy youths, like older teens in equally just sort of like repurposed like sports pads and just random blunt objects start like following as they head off in the directions that you give. They're like just gonna start just like breaking some windows and wrecking shit downtown. Great. What next?
Can I give one a whirl?
I mean, you, by the way, you do literally have 15 minutes. I have set a timer.
Oh crap! Yeah. All right. I'm gonna first of all, was the voice recognizable? The attention Bajoran workers. Sorry, I mean Sonaspar workers.
You still have time to save your lives. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna make the call. No, this is not a voice
Okay,
you
good.
would know.
I will swim up to a group of just refinery workers if I can. Even just like speak to them through like the makeshift barricades they've made. The top side's with you. But let's make this interesting. Parade around the refineries. Let's visit each one. Rally more people to the cause as we go. We stay here, we're dead in the water.
Okay, so hold on. Specifically, you're trying to address the people behind the barricades.
They
Yeah.
are far.
Are they super far?
I would say this is something that would require you to move through the crowd.
Oh, I'll
to
go.
get up
I'll
to-
absolutely go through.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Do you want to split from the group, or are you going to ask everyone to come with you? Like,
I told people that we kind of have to, so I'm gonna go. Yeah.
Okay, you go. Everyone else can just kind of like you can split where you need. So Bunk, you're just kind of like spreading the word, like take it, pass it on. Like, you know, this is going to be.
Yeah, the big rallying cry from Bunk is like, the topsiders that are not aligned with Valthur are with Sonaspar. Come with me.
Okay, I love that. I'm gonna count that as an asset, actually.
Sick.
So what was gonna be difficulty 3 is already 1 in the combination of anecdote and the fact that you are clearly not like a native Sonaspari, but you are talking about how like there are forces above the water that are with their fight. So just three or higher.
Let's go.
Intellect
Bonk.
check. Yeah.
That's a 9 from me.
Yes.
Okay, you can already see that there's like, during this 15-minute sort of like reprieve, this is actually perfect timing. You're like, you feel, I think, hopefully pretty validated in your choice to take the dangerous like whoopser route here, because arriving now means that you convincing people to peel off makes the Valthurans think that they're sort of like intimidation check is working. Like here and there, you can see small clusters, groups of people kind of peeling off. The crowd is thinning somewhat, not like super significantly yet, but like, you know, the message is getting spread around that like apparently other stuff's happening. Like you're suggesting like other smaller refineries and like silos should get hit around the city, and it seems like people are taking that in advisement, taking that to heart. But really though, as you reach the barricades themselves, I will say you can see a small like assembly of what appears to be like the closest thing this nascent labor movement has to leaders. You can see about a half a dozen of people are gathered, of various different walks of life here, all of them Sonaspari, most of them sporting what look like pretty fresh wounds, only some bandaged. All of them appear to be engaged in sort of like feverishly talking over each other. If your successful sort of check here on the way up is going to basically allow you, like, you're going to be seen as friendly, so you can pass the barricades if you want. Do you want to try and address this group?
Yeah, I'm going to probably try and start up a chant or something. Like,
yeah. Is anyone following Bunk behind the barricades, or is everyone else trying to spread out through the crowd?
I'm dispersing.
Like everyone, you're dispersing.
I'm going towards Vin, but I'm like along the way. Just
okay. So Risubi's making his way towards Vin Marinthos. What's Berengaria, Calliope, and Bahari doing?
I'll follow Risubi.
Okay, so those two are heading off into a particular portion of the assembled crowd. What about the others? Oh, you're muted.
Calliope swims just slightly up so that they can get a good look at the entire crowd, and turns to Bahari and says, they're going to peel off group by group, and hopefully there will be no one left here. Once the last group of people start leaving, by then Valthurans will already have started an assault, which means I should stay.
Ooh. You're gonna stay here and do what?
Make sure that everyone gets away.
But what's gonna happen to you?
Hopefully I'll get away too.
No, not hopefully. We're going to make a plan. I know we don't have a lot of time, but we need some way to get you out of here, because you matter too, okay? You're one of the people we're also trying to save, in case you forgot.
Right. I take the last group. Would you like to come with, and maybe we can ensure that everyone survives, including us?
Yes, including us. That's the plan.
We can take a different path towards the city center and regroup with the rest.
Agreed. Let's go.
Okay.
hey,
Okay.
Adam.
Yep.
As soon as I've got the chant rolling,
Mm-hmm.
Bunk is going to peel away from that group and post up somewhere where they can use Overwatch to keep a sniper trained on the Valthurans looking for a specific face.
Gotcha. Were you trying to engage with the sort of like labor leaders inside too?
Yeah, I'm like basically trying to get them to lead for me. I'm saying like, I'm right behind you. Like,
Oh, okay. Well, I'll say as you approach, they are not interested in hearing you. You can hear them arguing pretty heavily. I mean, it's
okay,
like,
yeah, let's see what's going on.
Again, several of them look pretty injured. One of them's trying to, like, one of them seriously seems kind of like cowed at this moment. You can hear one saying like, you heard them. We either give in now or people start dying. And we can't ask everyone to throw themselves in the line of fire. If we listen to them, maybe they'll listen to us. We could initiate talks.
It's bullshit, Graves, and you know it. Half the soldiers out there are itching to open fire regardless of what we do, and they'll have no reason to listen to us if we show how easy we fold. We all knew the risks. This is hardly a surprise. Somebody else juts in. Yo, the risk! We're fighting with wrenches and crowbars. They got tanks. We're beyond the risk. This is insane.
It's like, this is like basically the crosstalk as you approach.
Like, yeah, I guess I'll just like, I'm, that doing that cool guy thing, just leaning against the back of the wall, like Strider, like I'm like fucking Aragorn in this. Like,
Yes.
Pretty cowardly talk for folks sitting on a mountain full of raw coralite.
All of the sort of assembled would-be sort of like union leaders just turn to like see you in the shadows, leaning up against the wall. One of them swims forward, a figure to whom the others seem to have been showing some deference. A tall, lithe, eel-like merfolk wearing like a flowing and tattered cloak with a shoulder-crossed belt, like bandolier style, with all manner of like knives and like sharpened tools that look like industrial-sized like drill bits that they just like ripped off of drills. And they approach.
We're gonna die historic on the Fury Road.
Not yet, Crow.
Okay. Big talk coming from a new face.
Just because the face is new doesn't mean the voice is. Where will the Valthurans be when we douse their torch?
I'm done.
A wry smile crosses their face, and you can see just like this razor teeth. You wouldn't be the first person to come around claiming to be the voice on the radio.
But I would be the one that used raw coralite to help blow up an entrance to reactor beta. And I think we can do the same with the other reactors. Folk will listen to you. It's time to use their bastardization of coralite against them. Blow it up. But don't hunker down here to die.
With anecdote active, this goes from a level 5 to a level 4 intellect task to see if you can convince this person you are who you say you are.
Sure. Little flick of the blue tongue with a smile with effort to lower that down to 3 and the...
You know what? That and like the standard that you're wielding, like the spear and
the fact that I'm on a few posters in town.
I'll say, yeah. You know what? The fact that you've been on wanted posters everywhere, I'll count that as your other possible 2 assets. So that's going to lower it down to 3.
If I take my int pool down to 0, what happens to me?
You can, I believe it hinders your movement. There's a bunch of like, you're like 1/3 dead at that point. So I don't recommend it.
What do I have to beat right now?
A 9 or higher will succeed.
And you will.
Yeah. What was that cipher you gave me again, Adam? No, that's an old one. I'm sorry. It was in my artifacts list, and now it's not there anymore.
I believe I got you the. Was it the effort enhancer?
That sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah. Yeah, I do recall this was from your flashback.
Mm-hmm.
For the next hour, the user can apply 1 free level of effort to a task without
That's
spending
what I'm
points from the
doing.
pool.
I'm using it right the fuck now. Okay. All right.
Once this free level of effort is used, the effect of the cipher ends. So you can.
Yep.
Okay.
Got to be a 6.
How convenient. Got to be the 6.
Let's go.
Come on, Bunk.
To the moon.
Or
Underwater.
just to another part of the ocean. Oh no! That's a 5.
5.
XP. I'm throwing XP at you.
Okay. Let's work narrative.
I want to know how. I want to know how you helped.
Oh, here. I got it.
Oh, okay.
I'll use my XP.
Okay.
I send soy sauce to join you.
Oh, yes! That's incredible. Immediately.
It's even better.
Like, as soon as this like eel folk is clearly skeptical of you just kind of waltzing in and trying to like take the reins, immediately over the barricades you can hear like a gasp, like a group of okay, stay perfectly still as hovering in slowly, sleepily, hungrily, here comes soy sauce, the grizzled ancient tiger shark, comes over and just like plops itself, just hovering in the water, just like right next to you, and just kind of turns and like clearly aligning himself with you, just appraises the arrayed sort of like council here. So you can re-roll. 6 or higher will do it.
Let's go. Let's soy
14.
sauce. Yes.
14. Okay. Incredible.
I take my boot and I draw a line in the sandbar.
Oh shit!
Yeah, you carve a little line in the dust in front of you.
Why don't you tell me if you want to stand on the line Valthuran wants you on, or if you want to come with me?
The thin, razor-toothed grin kind of grows a little bit wider. And they put a hand out to like shake yours.
Yeah, but we do like the predator one.
Oh yeah, like the full-on like
Yeah.
you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Name's Jetsam. And these here are my cast-offs. I've come here as a little bit of an outside advisor. Make sure people don't get hurt. I can see that we are of like minds.
We probably
All right,
are.
then.
There's a few people on the list that I wouldn't mind getting hurt, Jetsam. But maybe that's for tomorrow.
We can give as good as we get. All right. I gave you a name, you give me yours.
Name's Bunk. But it don't really matter one way or the other. I'm just one of y'all for tonight.
Just another face in the crowd.
Just one of the many. That's the point of it all.
Many is all they've got to fear. Bigger the many, scarier we are. Welcome to the cast-offs, Bunk. Now, you were saying something about not taking the coward's way out. I'm very keen to hear it.
I open my sniper rifle and reveal the core light core. This is what it looks like refined. But it don't need to be refined to make a pretty big boom. It's pretty stable in the form it's in now. You get some of the workers, help them extract as much of it as you can, get it out of here. Take it to another refinery. If they threaten you, unleash hell. That's what I recommend.
Okay. Take their
And keep making the
swords and
circuit.
stuff.
Don't stay in one place too long.
Okay. You. I need you to meet with as many of my lieutenants as possible. I need you to explain specific measures, proportions, and detonation methods. We're doing this clean and we're doing it safe. And then we can spread the love as far and wide as you see fit. But personally, short term, I'm more concerned with getting as many of these people out of here alive.
We're of one
All they
mind.
were doing was trying to fight for what? A little bit more scratch, maybe some better hours, and what they're gonna get gunned down for that? Hell no, not while I'm here. So, we'll do it your way, but first we're gonna do it our way.
Sounds like the right move. We have an
Good.
accord.
So be it, Bunk.
And it's at this moment that once more the loggerhead tank at the rear of the Valthuran position fires an artillery shell into the flare, into the ocean above, like a flare, just bursts with this thunderous explosion overhead. A demand for more silence. The crowd does again hush a little bit, though not nearly so much as the first time, as your influence on the crowd leads to defiant shouts that can still be heard over much of the ensuing message. But as before, the sort of crackling and mic feedback kicks in as the voice picks back up.
Attention, Sonaspari workers! I regret to inform you that your time has run out. To those of you who still have your wits about you, I recommend immediate evacuation of the occupied facility. Return to your homes and you shall not be pursued or fired upon. To those of you who have resolved to remain against all good sense, rest assured that your actions here will indeed send a message that sedition, vandalism, and treason will not be tolerated. Infantry, advance! And I am going to need everyone here to give me initiative rolls, speed tasks. Let's see how this turns out. So, this is going to be to determine whether you all move before the infantry, and then there's also going to be the tank itself. So for the hammerhead tank, it's going to be a difficulty 5. For the infantry units, it's going to be difficulty 2. So anyone who beats a 6 or higher will move before the infantry. Anyone who is 15 or higher will move before any enemy units.
Just to let you know, Adam, I do have danger sense, so my initiative tasks are lower difficulty by 1 each.
Mine as well, so...
I rolled a 2.
Oh,
19!
Oh, Jay, I think you need to re-roll that. I think there was an extra space in that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll re-roll that. Oops.
I rolled an 8.
Okay.
Rhymes with great.
I also rolled an 8.
Hey.
Rhymes with never too late.
Yep.
Okay.
So this Bunk, you go, and then the loggerhead, then everybody else.
Oh,
I should have just grabbed Calliope and been dragged out of there.
I did. Did I not technically beat it or no? Because my initiative is lower, but I don't know. I don't know how initiative works.
You rolled a
It was
14.
difficulty- Oh, it was a
You're
success.
good.
Oh,
Yeah,
'cause
you're
it-
out.
Because I have
you're
an
trained.
initiative training.
You're trained in initiative. That's incredible.
All right, so Bunk and Calliope, the two of you get to move before the tank gets to do anything. Then we have the loggerhead, then everyone else, then finally the infantry. Everybody beat the infantry, which is great. And I do have that listed here.
Hey, Adam.
Yaha.
Whenever you're ready for combat to start, I have a bananas question for you.
Oh, please.
A 19 is a minor effect or a +3 to damage.
Mm-hmm.
If I can hit the tank, can my added effect be that I shoot through the tank's like gun nozzle?
I was just
So you mean if you roll a 19 or 20 on an attack against the tank?
Well, I mean, for an effect, I'd do extra damage, right?
Yeah.
Or
But
can my effect
that's
on
if
this
you-
initiative roll be that I have it perfectly lined up in my sights or something to make making the shot easier? I just
Okay,
really want
let's
to
say-
do it. It sounds
Okay,
really
let's say
cool
this.
to
Let's say
do.
this. You're asking about having rolled a 19 on your initiative. Okay.
Yeah.
Since that's not an attack roll, you can't just turn that into extra damage. But what you can do
What's my
is,
effect?
I'll say your minor effect, sure. Let's say that you're posted up. Your initial starting position is you're posted up behind the barricades, and you've got a clear lined up shot against the tank, which means your first attack against the tank is eased by 1 level.
Ooh, beautiful. I would like that.
Okay. Fantastic. So the current situation is this. You've already convinced several swaths of people to break off and start, causing mayhem and chaos elsewhere in the city so as to draw attention away from the refinery. As of right now, there's still a large crowd of people out between the refinery and the oncoming infantry. And then there's also the people who are holed up inside the refinery. You're trying to get them out alive. You're trying to thin out the Valthuran numbers. And I would say that, yeah, Bunk has the right idea that disabling or destroying the tank would make it much, much easier for people to disperse. So, with that in mind, let's resolve this. Let's start here with, in any order, Bunk and Calliope. You can work together. You can work one before the other. Initiative's a little more elastic in Cypher. So since the two of you are going in this block, just tell me, each of you in your time, what you want to do here at the very outset.
I mean, you know my plan, Z, so if you have something else you want to do before I try and blow up the tank, please feel free to go first. I'm just going to try and do that move on my turn.
okay. Calliope will actually first hit the radio and say, "What's the plan, Bunk?"
I'm gonna blow up a tank, Calliope. I truly am flummoxed that you would even ask me that.
Cool.
Also, there's a lot of union workers back here, as well as Jetsam and some riffraff. Looks to be potential friendlies for us if we all get out of here alive.
Can I please? I'm between two minds right now.
I'll tell you that the approaching infantry, until their first turn, which is at the end of the first round of initiative, they're going to be out of range of any kind of attacks as they are beginning their march, their sort of swim march into the crowd. So they haven't quite engaged yet. They will at the end of the initiative order.
But Bunk is in range of the tank.
Bunk has extremely long range on this sniper rifle, and they have posted up with a stabilizing sort of like force. They're behind cover, and they're using the barricade to stabilize their shot. They're lining it up.
Yeah, I'm like talking to Jetsam while like peering down scope, like not even looking at anybody anymore. Like, y'all better get going.
And to be clear, everyone can hear what Bunk is saying on the radio right now, right? So we all know what Bunk's plan is.
All of your comms are on. You all can talk to each other freely despite being dispersed around the crowd.
Yeah, okay. I would say knowing Bunk, everyone kind of already would have known regardless that this is what was going to happen, but like,
Okay.
I mean, like, yeah.
So I'm going to ask for two things here. With my Find the Flaw feature, which is an enabler, if an opponent has a straightforward weakness, takes extra damage from fire, blah, 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 the GM will tell me what that is. Tell me about this tank. Is it brand spanking new? Or is it... Has it been through the ringer?
The HMR 34 Loggerhead is a stout and well-armored aquatic tank. It lacks speed and maneuverability, but easily makes up for it with raw firepower at range. Its standard concussive coralite shells are dangerous enough on their own, but once per round, it can also make use of special weapons. Those vary from model to model. The designation HMR 34 means that it's a heavy, like mechanical robotics unit, and it was developed in the 34th year of the occupation. So it's not brand spanking new. This was first deployed about 16 years ago, and it's showing a bit of its age.
Okay. Bunk, what are you trying to hit?
I would say like one other thing. Your Find the Flaw feature shows that it's
it's short range, isn't it?
It's additional. I would say, it's not maneuverable. It can't move. If it's in danger, the odds of it being able to escape are very, very low. And I'll say that you can identify its alternative special weapon on this unit is a torpedo with a range of 1,000 feet, which is also not short range. So basically, if people could get right up against this thing, there would be no defense that it has. It has basically like it can lob artillery shells, and it has like a torpedo attack it can use. But that is like it. It doesn't have an ability to do anti-personnel damage to like people that are getting real close to it. If you can close the gap, it can't hit you.
Is the torpedo bay door lightly armored?
That's fun. I love that you have all these schematics like just in your brain because you're Valthuran tech too. Yeah, you would recognize that the torpedo launching tube would have a very thin piece of like plate armor covering it when it's not in use, but a perfectly placed shot could possibly fire through that and down the torpedo launch tube and potentially detonate the torpedo in its like hangar bay. So like in its launch bay. So yeah, that's what we're looking at.
Okay. I am going to do a really intense mathematics scan to communicate to Bunk where exactly to shoot on the tank.
Perfect. Is this, if I hit the torpedo bay, I can blow it up, or are you telling me where the coralite core is?
I'm telling you where the torpedo bay is, because if there's an explosive torpedo inside there that is long range, first of all, it already presents a threat. But second of all, it presents a threat to the tank.
Yeah, no kidding. It's super big old vulnerable belly.
It would be an incredible trick shot. If you could pull it off, it would deal massive damage. It is front facing.
Okay.
So this thing, like, it's posted up. I mean, there is actually I did draw this one. So I can show everybody here. The HMR 34 Loggerhead is this guy right here. Can I do show players? Well, anyway, it's basically like a spherical sort of like chassis with sort of like 4 almost like crab-like legs, and then a couple of like just thrusters on either side of it. It's a single person outfit, so like it's not a particularly large tank. It's similar to like a single person submersible that you'd see, like the ones that kind of dive to go and like investigate shipwrecks, like the sort of like spherical things would go down to the Titanic. But it does have a torpedo loading bay, which is located directly above where the cockpit would be. So it's fairly, it's going to be extremely difficult to hit. I mean, if you've been bullseyeing womp rats, like, you know, like we can talk, but
what's the difficulty of my shot, Adam?
I'll say this: to just hit the loggerhead to deal damage to its main chassis, it's difficulty 5.
Sure.
This would be hindered 2 steps. It would be difficulty 7 or impossible without effort or skills in order to do
don't worry.
it. So.
There'll be some effort involved.
Can I give you
So-
an idea?
I'm dying to know.
The torpedo comes out of the nose.
Mm-hmm.
What if you shoot in the nose?
That's my dream. That's my dream and what I wish to do. Yes. Yes, it's the perfect idea. So I would like to shoot down the nose if I can. Worst case scenario, I've hurt the firing mechanism. So, or like the shoot. So with Calliope helping me, that lowers it to difficulty 6.
Yes, help from Calliope, the analysis of the. You're being like a Slippy from Star Fox 64, like enemy shields analyzed. I love that. Yes. So that'll take it down to difficulty 6. And then the fact that you got a 19 on initiative and you're using that to ease your first attack, difficulty 5. So now
and expending some effort, which takes my speed.
Difficulty.
Yeah. So now it's difficulty 4.
You have just taken this from an impossible task to something you can do on a 12 or higher. If you hit a 12 or higher, you will deal the damage that you'll deal your weapon damage plus the damage of the torpedo to this thing. So,
all right.
Can I do one more thing? If I use a Cypher, can I take that down to a 3? I don't know if 3, like, I don't know if 2 types of help can come from Calliope.
I would say if you use a Cypher, that counts as something different. Like activating a Cypher isn't just using like a help action. So it's potentially, it could work, but you'd have to tell me what it is and how you're using it.
The flashback Cypher.
Wait.
And we're going way back.
Wait, you never used this?
We got one last...
No.
Last session.
It was a cipher that you got in your flashback. It's not a cipher that flashes back narratively.
My bad.
Okay.
My bad. I flashback Cypher to talk to the urchins. Oh, that would be so good though. Never mind.
Like if you had held on to that until after the heists and be like,
I was gonna say, like, you used it first, right?
Okay. You're right. I did get it. I got a sound dampener. That won't help here.
Okay.
Damn.
Okay. So in that case, it's still difficulty 5 with all of the things you've done, or 4. Yeah. You've set yourself up a difficulty 4 on the hit. Let's see if you can nail this trick shot.
It's a 1. Oh, it's a 1.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm going to use my XP.
Oh, okay. Because I did have a very devious idea, but I do love this. How are you
like a fun
this?
devious idea? Like we should just let that
fun
slide?
For me. It would have been really fun for me.
Let's blow up a tank, though.
Yeah, I really want to blow up this tank. I will expend my XP.
Flip it over.
I think what I'll have happen here is soy sauce essentially seeing that you are kind of entering this mode of trying to find a target. He gets this predatory vibe. He knows what's going down. Something's going to happen. And what he's going to do is he's going to swim ahead and he's going to go ahead and start to like swim around and try to draw the attention of the loggerhead.
Okay. Oh, that's so fun.
And it's kind of helping it line up towards you. So, I mean, it is kind of...
Oh.
He's guiding the nose!
That's genius.
Yes.
Oh my god!
The main
God
artillery...
bless you, soy sauce.
The main artillery gun is like pivoting and trying to like keep it. Yeah, you can tell that like whoever's operating this tank is like, that's a fucking that.
Oh
is
no!
that what I? Okay, hold on. Yeah, like you can see them like trying to like lock on to, and in so doing, you can see that it's changing the sort of like pitch of the sort of main chassis such that the angle shifts a little bit. And you, just before you're about to take the shot, you can realize this is an easier shot. So go ahead and make that one more time. 12 or higher, do it.
18! Plus 2 damage!
Look at that. Look at that. Oh my god.
Thank
Off
you!
of a 1. We got a lot of 1s this time.
Sorry, at the bottom,
Adam-
now we here.
So that's 6 damage from the sniper normally, plus 2 more from the 18, plus whatever the torpedo did to that thing.
Okay. Let's talk. So it's 2 plus what was that again?
So it's 8 total from just me.
8 total just from the shot. You loose the bolt of just like superheated coralite plasma that just spirals flying over the heads of the assembled crowd as you just take your shot from your perch behind the barricades. Silently, it's leaving like a fizz of just like snap boiling water in its wake.
Can I just for me, because Bunk says stuff like when I know I've got the shot, just like it's that kind of the water from your blood for the desert what bore me, and I take the shot directly down the nose.
Yeah, you fire down through the thin plated like kind of like lightly reinforced covering over the torpedo bay, which your bolt bores through, flash melting it. It is not an obvious target, thanks to Calliope's very astute observations and tactical evaluation. You have managed to score an unlikely trick shot as the plasma bolt kind of flies down into like a deep recess inside the chassis of the tank, dealing the initial 8 damage on hit, plus an additional 18 damage. As all 3 of its torpedoes that it has in a kind of like a chain reaction, instantly destroying the loggerhead. As all 21 of its hit points gone at once. Even with its 3 like I'm gonna say that ignores its normal armor damage reduction because you have like fired through a weakened portion of it. The opening volley of this standoff ends with the first few seconds of silence as the infantry are advancing, and the sort of like the voice over the loudspeaker is just ordering the full-on assault. Just like 5 seconds later, the loggerhead artillery just erupts in like a small mushroom cloud explosion, and their entire like artillery backup is just eviscerated.
I've still got the gun like posted up, and I look over my shoulder at Jetsam and just do a nudge like, go on. Jetsam like had their arms crossed and were like evaluating, wondering, slack-jawed in this moment as they just kind of like undulating, like swim up to like and just hands on the barricade, looking over, just like cocking an eyebrow. Well, holy shit. All right, Bunk. Let's move. And they recede a bit, and you can see that they're like, they pull one of like the long, like sharpened drill bits and start just kind of like butterfly knifing it as they start rallying the rest of their cast-offs. Full on like black block, most of them wearing like full face masks and like body armor, and over your head, in like a flying V formation behind Jetsam, this whole crew just start like soaring over you and just taking off over the crowd, and then just kind of splitting into various pairs, kind of like buddy system, and moving in to try and flank the approaching infantry. Amazing. I told that guy to flee, and now he's like, we're gonna win the. Okay, well, bye.
Oh no, they're here to hold off everyone while they've let. So
no, it's
Loggerhead's
fine.
off.
Yeah.
Loggerhead is off the initiative, so it's now just like one side, other side. Good guys, bad guys. So everybody else gets to move before the infantry. They're all out of range of weapons.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but everyone else can just start making their moves. You want to post up?
So I have a question for Christian.
What's
Are
up?
we still kind of moving towards Vin?
I was gonna direct them towards some weapon silos and caches in the city and raid those.
Great.
Smart.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
So the two of us head over towards Vin.
Yeah, we head over, and it's like,
I'll say, yeah.
God, you're saying what?
I'll say that the two of you can
Basically use your turns here in the first round to close the distance, and the two of you meet up in the vicinity of Vin Marinthos and several of his prize fighters. And yeah, he's like in the middle of just kind of whipping him up into a frenzy, and he just kind of pauses as he sees you, in particular, Rasubi, approach.
Well, I'll be damned! Rasubi, hometown hero! Yes!
Vin,
This is what I'm fucking talking about!
Vin, the fight is not here. This is merely a battle. We must win the war.
Okay. You can't show up. Finest boxer I've ever seen and tell me the fight's not here. The fight just arrived.
I'll look over at Berengaria and back, just kind of like give a nod and then look back over. We must take out their weapons. There are,
okay.
and then I'll just explain. I'll explain. There are teenagers in the city. We need to protect them.
That is, you found the magic words. Okay. Anecdote is still ongoing, so it was
Going to be a difficulty 4 is reduced to 3, and because you are now like saying no, this is not the only place where innocents are in danger, and you can still serve a protective role elsewhere, I'm going to take that down as another asset. It's difficulty 2.
Yes.
Intellect check to see if you can persuade.
Okay. Ooh, I was expecting that to be harder, but hell yeah, I'll take it. You said difficulty 2.
yeah, so 6 or higher will do it.
Yeah. 2. I'm gonna apply a level of efforts here. Just look, Danny, don't fuck me. Come on. We're good. I roll a 5. I roll a 5. We did
Good
it.
instincts. Good instincts. Then again, he's like this like full on like black leather jacket, like retro punk studded bracelets aesthetic with like the full cephalopod, like merfolk with the octopus bottom half. You can see him like wince and just grind his teeth a little bit. He's like, okay.
They need
Okay.
heroes. They need to see their heroes protecting them.
I just want to say, you showed up, and the last thing I thought is that you were going to come here and try and, like, calm me down. So, like, okay, fine. Where did they go?
I think at this point, it's just pulling up maps of where potential weapon silos could be,
Okay.
but the ones that would be closest to the locations that we've told the crowd to go to.
You told like several people to
Peel off and just like go downtown and start like
Yeah.
wrecking all of like the shops, the theater district, just like start causing mayhem. So
Yeah,
like
transit districts, like we told people to go
the
to the
C-tram
other silos.
stations. Yeah. Okay. So like you all you had to say like they're downtown and they're wrecking shit. And
Yeah.
Vin is like,
All right. You know what? This is good. This is also good. I've always kind of wanted to wreck that place. Come on.
and he like it's like full on just like leaves a trail of ink as he like propels himself
right.
away.
I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a cephalopod merfolk, and yeah, like a bunch of like his prize fighters are like in tow. You can see the Scarlet Scissor is there too. That lobster folk, and just gives you like a curt nod, and then scuttles off sideways. Like,
Oh yeah.
I'll do. As he does this, there's a bit of a stare. I'll lift up my fist.
and without missing a beat, just the hardened
chitinous carapace of this claw just like just grinds for a second against like the paint and metal of your big bald fist, and just like the most badass aquatic fist bump as you see each other on the same side of the ring for the first time.
Oh my God.
And off they go to start, drawing some aggro so that all those kids who are, taking baseball bats to windows downtown don't take the heat. So they're off. The crowd is thinning by the moment, but you still, and the artillery is gone. So at this point, if you can just deal enough, damage to kind of like break or rout the oncoming infantry, if you can break their advance, break their ranks, then, this is as good as done. You can get people out of here. So we need Bahari, I think, at this point, and then Berengaria, and then we can see what happens next.
Okay, I've never done a really offensive maneuver, but I'm gonna try something.
Ooh.
Love it.
I'm going to use Bahari's ability, which is not precise, but it doesn't have to be if you're aiming for a bunch of infantry. She can do push, which is telekinetically pushing an object in a distance, whatever direction you want. And it has to be my size or smaller. And what I'm using is some of the very small pieces of ultra-charged coralite that she had been keeping in her pocket. Like they're like pebble size, but a bunch of them. Because if she uses push and pushes them into the ocean floor right where the infantry is walking, they might have a unfortunate reaction, which would disperse their movements because they don't know what's happening. They wouldn't know if they're getting grenaded. Yeah, so we're gonna see how
magic
much
caltrops.
That rules.
Amazing. Amazing.
That's wild. So you basically move yourself into position. You're in the midst of the crowd. You telekinetically basically like ready this cloud of just dozens of these tiny pebbles of raw coralite. Does that cost points from any of your pools to do, or do you just like
just check? I'm checking. Don't think so. It is one of my... I have never used it because she's only been doing like defensive stuff. So I was like, I know I can do this, but I haven't yet. And it's quick. It's too crude to manipulate it. So I couldn't use it to like close a door, but I can use it to just shove. So that's what we're doing. All right.
Okay. Then, so those are like embedded into the floor here.
I'm going to say make a difficulty 2 intellect check to see if you can place these in such a way that they're in the direct path and like hidden under the top layer of sand.
Okay. Ooh, let's roll a good one. I rolled a 10.
On a 10, yes, absolutely.
So like reading the sort of advance of the of the infantry here, who I'm gonna say like by turns, some of them are like kind of taking a higher approach where they're kind of like propelled by sort of like personal submersibles, just kind of like you hold onto the little handles and it's like basically a little turbine that's like pushing them, and so some are approaching kind of like at a higher vantage, but the ones that are like
all
weapons
using those
ready,
corrupted coralite pieces that they've manipulated and taken from Sonaspar, so they're not going to react very well with the ones that I just put there.
I'll say the ones that have weapons
free are like basically marching along the ocean floor. They're sort of like not particularly buoyant, and so like as soon as the first line approaches, I'm just gonna have you. Actually, you don't have to make a roll here. These are just, I'm going to count these as like a medium weapon dealing like 4 damage to a burst area. And I'm going to say that of the like dozen or so infantrymen moving up in this particular column, I'm going to say 3 of them are going to take 4 damage each.
Nice.
As there's a localized burst of like firecracker. And I think this let's see. So they each have 1 armor, so it's 3 damage to 3 of them here, leaving them with. Okay, cool, gotcha. That's great. They immediately like disperse, kind of break ranks. This particular fire team just kind of like dives, bunch of them like rolling, taking up like swimming up a little bit diagonally, trying to take up like flanking positions. See like who like all of them like communicating, shouting over their radios like what happened? Where'd that come from? Okay, fantastic. And then finally, what's Berengaria doing here?
Okay. I call out like, and I summon soy sauce to my side, and I hook onto soy sauce's fin. I hold on. I say, I'm blanking. Anyway, essentially what I want to do is I want to direct soy sauce to bowling ball through the infantry as they are confused with what's going on. And
so target the ones that have stepped onto this sort of like localized explosive and like just like hit them with blunt force. Is that it? Like
And it makes the bowling pin noise when it happens.
I wish I had that on a soundboard or something. That's incredible. Okay, love that. So
I don't know how you want to handle this. The Beast Companion does inflict 2 points of damage. Yeah.
Okay. So let's say you could probably target one of them with this maneuver, but I would say that okay, on top, but you yourself will be shielded from any damage if you do this. Like if you move through here, you will not be the target if you succeed. Everyone's going to be preoccupied with the fact that there's a big tiger shark.
Okay.
So
from the way that this is worded, it sounds like that I have a separate action from the Beast Companion itself. It just happens to move on my turn as well. So I'll just bonk someone with my arch whalebone staff as we do a flyby.
Yes.
This is
okay,
a mermaid jousting with a shark. I just want everyone to sit with that for a
holding
minute.
onto a dorsal fin, and you're moving through, and you're just like just walloping dudes. Okay. Yeah. So you can target the
hitting a mailbox.
Yeah. Yes! Okay, Berengaria, you are like soaring in. We're playing a little loose here with movement rules, since like technically like you're not using your own movement, you're using a tiger shark that can move pretty fast. So let's say you were basically gonna move right in and end your turn directly in the midst of like the fray in the melee with this particular fire team of fully 12 infantry. But you're going to be able to deal damage to the one that's on point and potentially throw them into further disarray. So he's already taken damage. I'm going to need 2 rolls here, one for you, one for soy sauce. They're both going to be difficulty 2 might tasks.
Okay. This first one will be soy sauce. Boop. That's a 6.
That matches.
And then the second one is going to be me, and it counts as a medium attack from me.
Ooh.
13 success. Okay, so that's a total
Of 6 points of damage, minus 1 from armor.
Bro got walloped.
But that does not matter, as that is... Describe for me how you knock this guy completely cold here. Like, what does this look like as you move in? Because you've basically taken the lead, like, point infantryman out.
Oh, man. Okay, I think what happens is, as soy sauce is barreling through, the guy kind of gets swept up from the force, and he's kind of arching over us, and I just smack him, and he starts going in a completely different direction.
You send him back topside.
I love that.
He's blasting off again.
Soy sauce comes in at like low below center of gravity and like hits him in the knees, and he flies up and like rolls over like he's just like he gets hit by a car, effectively rolling off of soy sauce's like head. And yeah, you like follow up with like a wallop clean to his head. You kind of crack. Yeah, like you crack his visor, and he just like floats off, like, and off he goes up his buoyancy, I guess, increased significantly as he just kind of like floats higher and higher off screen.
It like pops something like one of the like thrusters, and he just starts blasting.
Yeah, he starts like lazily blasting off towards the surface. Yeah, incredible. So that's one gone. And now the remaining 11 infantry that are basically going to be targeting the general sort of like crowd here, the first to kind of break in. I'm gonna have to let's see who targets who.
I don't like this part.
He'll be fine.
I'm just worried about people who aren't us.
I'm going to make a GM intrusion here.
I love those. Those are my favorite.
Oh,
That means we get an XP.
How rude to intrude.
Risubi,
What's that?
you're the largest target. My intrusion is you're going to take
As
a
it should
full
be.
fire team. All of them are going to fire on you, and as a result, because they are focusing fire, all of their attacks are going to be more difficult to dodge. You have to make.
Is it 11?
I'm going to turn this into basically like a volley attack.
Okay.
You need to make one might or speed defense.
Yeah.
And it is going to be basically triple difficulty. So it's going to be difficulty 6.
Okay.
That's feasible.
Yeah.
On a failure, I will calculate the damage differently though.
That's fine. I'm going to spend 2 levels of effort here.
Oh, did you
I
can do
did.
that now?
I did. I can. Yeah.
That's a thing you can.
That's the thing I wanted to do for my advancement. Ooh. Okay, so 2 levels of effort with 1 edge in my might pool. How much investment of my pool is that?
First level of effort you use costs 3. Every subsequent level costs a further 2. So a total of 5 minus your edge.
Minus edge.
So
Okay, so
costs
cost 4.
Got it. 4 points from your pool, and you've eased this task from 6 to 4.
All
That's
right,
possible.
we're taking it. Hell yeah. I'm big and imposing. I'm not gonna be able to like matrix dodge this, so just gonna go with that. Failure. I rolled a 8. That's okay. That's okay.
How far away is Rasubi from Bahari right now? Just asking.
I got plenty of pool.
I would say Bahari and Bahari was right where Berengaria and Soy Sauce were before they kind of like barreled in like a bowling ball. I would say he is like a short range distance away from the infantry, so like well within their range. And Bahari, you are probably also not that far away because you had to move in to like yeah. So I'd say you're probably within 30, 40 feet.
If it's okay with Rasubi, Bahari might use an XP to get in there and make you the fastest disappearing shrimp ever.
If you want to go, yeah, absolutely.
I love that.
They'll be like, what the hell?
You can give him like a temporary like pseudo phase in that moment that would basically make him slightly transparent.
It's like heat waves in the desert.
I was gonna say maybe it's easier to put a phasing field so that the bullets phase through and not necessarily Rasubi, right?
It's harder to phase a moving object. So
Understood.
you're standing still.
Got
so
it.
I could probably keep you from getting hit by anything, but making the bullets fit, I might mess that up.
Okay. I will re-roll with.
Come on now.
Roll. Still difficulty 4.
Yeah,
Danny with the 20.
yeah.
Oh
It's
my
okay.
goodness.
Somewhere you can hear, like from far away, you can hear the echoing Vin Marinthros is going. As
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Sting like a shrimp.
That's why we love Rasubi.
like the sort of weird heat wave ripple effect from Bahari's phasing capabilities on you makes you a slightly more difficult target to get a bead on, and while they all are like lining up their shots, she moves in and kind of like makes you this like fractaling, like half transparent target. all of their bullets either go wide to shoot where it looks like a projection of your shoulder is, instead they just kind of shoot over you, or they like hit at these awkward angles that ping right off. You take 0 damage, and you have drawn all of the aggro from every single assailant within range.
Does he get a major effect or anything?
Bahari!
You do get a major effect as well. Yes.
Oh my god.
What additional thing would you like to do to put everyone in like a better position here?
I took no damage off of a volley. That has to put the fear of everything into their hearts.
I
feel like that's a major effect.
And you know what? I love this. Jay,
like,
go ahead and don't expend an XP for that. The GM intrusion gives 1 to Risubi, 1 to Bahari, so that cancels it out. Like you basically you got roped in to do a thing. There, you're
amazing.
Like, you just get an XP from that. So, love that. I will say, that's massively demoralizing to this particular squad.
Yeah, so it's like Risubi looks like he got hit by the volley. It's intense, but then he lowers the arm and then just stares.
Yeah, a lot of like frame in frame reaction shots. Go ahead and roll a d6 for me if you got one on hand.
Okay. I do have one on hand. I'm gonna roll it physically because that's gonna be faster than looking for the Roll20 menu. Sorry, Danny. 3.
Three of the infantry who were completely unharmed up to this point, their courage breaks and they break formation, and 3 of them are gone. The main advancing fire team now has only 7 members left, I believe. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. So there are 7 of them remaining.
Wow.
And now that's their turn. That puts us back up to the top of the initiative. So before we kind of close out, let's see if we can stitch this up for the night. All of you can move in whatever order you want. You can coordinate your attacks. The entire squad gets to like operate as a unit. So tell me what happens.
I think since I'm up close and personal with them, I will continue to Bowlingaria through them. Thank you, Schroeder.
Yay!
So go ahead and I imagine you probably target one of the others who'd been hit by the like explosive here. So you can target another one of the injured people. Yeah, go ahead and make the 2 attacks here.
Okay, this one is soy sauce.
19.
Oh my god!
And that's me.
So
18! Double annihilation!
Paying back them ones!
Honestly,
Berengaria, no violence today, y'all. Actually.
Tell me if you are vibing with this, Stella, but would you like to basically like have soy sauce barrel into one enemy, deal the 5 damage to them, which is again sufficient to knock him out, while you similarly do the same to the other? So basically you can like swing on one target while he bites another one.
Yes.
So that would allow you to clear 2 more from the field. Your bonus damage is enough to clear out 2 more.
Yeah, absolutely. You just see soy sauce just like latch onto one and then shake them around. And then
just doing the full roll, like pitching and rolling and just like tear, just ripping into his arm. You see his rifle just goes wide and starts floating away on the current, while you just absolutely clobber one on the side of the head. Another there's like the initial hit, and then there's like a concussive coralite burst from the staff as you send him just like side of his face. He basically instantly collapses as you send him like rocketing head into the sand, and he's out cold.
I like that.
The other 5 dudes watching this like, are we getting paid enough?
I like the vision of like that coralite burst as it kind of echoes across the staff. It also echoes over my hand, and you see these coralite veins for a brief second, and then they're gone.
Ooh.
For a brief
as
second.
this happens, over your head, by the way, as you're doing this, kind of like we pan the camera up, and you can see Jetsam and the cast-offs are just kind of like splitting up over your head at this point, and you see Jetsam just like take aim and just like perfectly throw like like one of these, basically like spiral football throw a giant industrial drill bit and like spear right through into like one dude's shoulder as he just kind of goes flying wide. And yeah, like all around, like the clash has fully like been engaged. All of the sort of like protesters with their like makeshift sort of improvised weaponry are just like beaten down, but like they feel hugely emboldened, and the like demoralized troops moving on them are like unable to hold rank. They're wavering. A few more knockouts and you could potentially like end this. There's only about 5 more targets that still look like they're kind of like holding the vanguard.
Hey, Adam.
Yeah,
How far am I away from Berengaria?
you're pretty far away. You're posted up on one of the upper floor barricades.
Is there a way to
I'd
get
say
down?
about 100 feet.
Yeah, exactly the range of my gun. The shark left. All right, I probably can't get down there to go do this cool thing, but I'll save it for a cool moment next time. I'm just gonna I'm probably gonna do the easiest thing, the best thing for me to do, which is up here. I can do a lot of good damage. They've got no cover. Like,
Yeah,
I'll try and take.
like it was never something that they could have expected, that there would be like a sniper perch up here with someone with an actual like military grade sniper rifle. So you've got perfect line of sight. Just go ahead and take a shot.
Yeah, what's
Okay.
my difficulty again?
Difficulty 2. They're not particularly difficult to hit on their own. In large numbers, they're dangerous, but yeah.
Okay. So is it all right to say I have Overwatch active?
If you expend you don't have to expend a point of int to do that because you have edge. So yeah, Overwatch is active.
All right, so that's going to do an extra point of damage if I hit.
Okay.
And I will also, why the heck not, lower this to difficulty 2, or difficulty 1, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead and expend a level of effort. Speed task, difficulty 1. 3 or higher will deal damage.
13.
Woo! 13.
That is
okay.
7 points of damage to that fella.
7 points of damage. -1 for armor. Significant injury as this particular unit takes the Coralite blast, just bores right into their shoulder plate and renders a piece of their sort of like reinforced armor completely useless. They have to rip it off as like the burn is spreading. Just molten metal. But yeah, not down yet. Okay. Others.
I'm going to begin making my way towards Berengaria, I think.
Okay.
My Cypher, which I got last time, is a sound dampener. Would you let me use it as a sound amplifier?
That's interesting.
Reverse the polarity.
My favorite line ever.
I would say with an intellect check
To hack Valthuran technology, equal to the task will be equal to the level of the Cypher. What's the Cypher's level?
I have it here as a level 1, but I don't know if that's correct.
It's a 1d6 plus 2. So go ahead and roll a d6
Yes.
if you got one. The higher the level, the more the more powerful the effect, but also
So
the
4.
harder it will be to hack. Okay, so it's
Okay.
difficulty 4 intellect, but I believe. Do you have training in sort of like reverse engineering, or hacking, these kinds of- mechanical acumen? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Take it down to a 3. If you can
Down to
beat a
3.
level 3 intellect task, then you can reverse the polarity and turn the sound dampener into a sound amplifier of some pretty significant effect.
Okay, I'm gonna use effort, take that down to a 2. Whew. Got a
Nice.
9,
And on a
so I
9,
got it.
Success.
Okay.
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 What are you doing with this?
Oops,
You've just
I
taken-
did not mean to roll this.
You've taken a gift I've
I've given you, and you've turned it into something potentially far better or worse.
Yeah, Calliope's like hand turns into a bunch of tiny little hands, tiny little pinchers, and starts mechanically engineering this chip, and they stick it back into themselves, and they get up, and like the day at the square on episode 1, they'll take a deep inhale, and you see the waters rippling as they call out to the entire crowd present with the sound amplifier now, and says, "Workers, rioters, you've done great work here. You've rendered this station inoperable. It's time to move on. There is a forward force, and we are dealing with them now, but we cannot stay. So stick together, stay alive, douse the torch."
Love
Can
that.
we all help if there's amplifying? Like, I'll start screaming, douse the torch.
You want to get
That like going.
Get that fucker going. Yeah.
Love that. Okay. This is basically you trying to move an entire crowd,
Yes.
which under normal circumstances would be like hugely difficult. We're talking
Yes.
like difficulty 6. I'm going to say the Cypher is going to take that down by 3 levels because it's a level 3 Cypher. Plus Anecdote takes it down to a 2. Plus Aid from Bunk is going to take it down to a 1. So this
Wow.
thing that was
Come on.
basically impossible to do became almost child's play. Give me an intellect roll difficulty 1 to see if you can basically cause the bulk of the crowd to disperse immediately.
Okay. Difficulty 1.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
There we go.
Yeah.
Let's play.
Thing 2, yeah, on a 5.
Child.
On a 5.
I did it.
You have
You were really convincing. We did.
Yeah. Making use of a lot of things you have in your corner, you're able to basically do the impossible. You have swayed the vast majority of the people here that the best thing to do would be to take this fight and spread it elsewhere. So you're redirecting this energy. You're kind of giving Valthur what they asked for. They're dispersing, but you're giving them something much worse. A mass citywide rebellion event. So with that, who hasn't gone here before we wrap up the last round? I
I went,
believe
Berengaria went, Calliope went.
So we haven't had Risubi or Bahari, right? Okay.
You have anything?
The last thing Bahari did was pretty awesome.
It really was.
Yeah.
Coolest thing
I
ever.
agree.
I'm good.
I think the
I'm
last.
going douse the torch. Yes.
I have,
So
I have
proud.
one volume. I can't
Okay.
scream douse.
Yeah.
No, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk up to the tank.
The husk of it.
Yeah, the husk of it.
Smoldering chassis, yeah.
Yeah. And would it be possible? No, sorry. My thought was the remaining infantry that is running away, trapping them in a corner with the tank by punching the tank and against the wall, and then
Oh
just
my
kind of
Wicked.
not
love
squishing
that.
them, just
Basically,
against the
you
corner.
want to like lift this thing, send it careening and hurtling over the heads of retreating infantry and like box them in.
Yep, pretty much.
I love that. Difficulty 5
All
might test.
5 of them are gonna wish they had left sooner.
Difficulty
Whoever's
5,
left.
my task. Listen, hey.
You hear a very sorry, go ahead.
Go. No, you go. You go.
You hear a very tentative cowboy voice. She's like, if that engine's still intact, I am building a car. If you wanted to just grab that engine, that'd be swell.
Oh my god!
I will.
Every time.
I'm gonna spend both of my efforts in might going down into very low, but it's worth it. 2 levels of effort. Fail.
Okay.
1 GM intrusion. Please give me the GM intrusion. I want this. No one spend XP. Do it. Give it. I want it.
And here's how we're going to wrap up tonight's session. You lock in the punch.
You like with the force of like jet propulsion, you rock it into the husk of this tank and it goes flying. Perfect arc. You can see that it's headed in the exact position you want it. You're going to box in these retreating infantry as it sails through the water overhead. A massive, like high artillery caliber coralite bolt detonates it in midair, sending shrapnel flying. And you can see what fired it as descending with this sort of like little reorientation jets, kind of like allowing it to descend at like a slow, dramatic speed. Its giant plodding feet finding purchase in the sand in front of you. A telltale dent in its armor. A hammerhead mech HM 48.
We're back.
With a massive like tank-sized coralite rifle grafted onto its arm and a huge hard light projected coralite shield at the ready, projected off of its forearm of its opposite arm. It kind of lands directly in front of you, descending through the smoke. And you can see piloting it, a familiar face. Oh, look who it is. Oh, we meet again. I think I owe you. Yeah. I think I owe you this. And he's going to aim the barrel directly at your face as the spear tip of this like harpoon rifle starts glowing and crackling with electricity as he readies a shot. And we are going to pull out from this as we see massive Imperial submersibles kind of flying in overhead, playing the entire battlefield in shadow, and several other Hammerhead mechs, an entire battalion of infantry descending. And you know what? Just for you, Bunk, through your sights, you can see as you kind of angle up, as one of the sort of cargo doors opens, sort of like one of the large transport ships from which all of these Hammerhead mechs are descending. You can see standing on the ramp with the Crimson Bident in hand, full resplendent lacquered black armor, is Commander Ludo Marianus, leading the charge to suppress this revolt. And that's where we'll pick up next time.
Oh my
Giddy
god!
My nemesis. It's
Wow. Oh my god. Well, thank you so much, Adam, for another amazing episode of Brine Blight. We're gonna button up here. We are going to do some outros. Please tell me who you are, where we can find you, and what your favorite part of today's episode was. And we'll start in reverse order. And we'll start with Jay.
I'm still kind of in shock. I'm sorry.
Okay, we can.
Hi, I'm Jay Justice. I do cosplay and game development. You can find me at that Jay Justice. My favorite part of the episode changed many times, but the very first favorite part of the episode was definitely Berengaria channeling the ancestors and fucking up that
Yeah!
That was amazing.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. We'll hop on over to Z.
Hi, I'm Z or Zach. You can find me on Twitter at ZachDevs. You can also find me Thursday nights at 9 p.m. on Bad House RPG for our Mage the something game. My favorite moment from tonight also changed a lot. Goodness. I want to say honestly, I'm just gonna take it now. What a GM intrusion right there at the end. What is like? It's not like you slipped on a banana peel. It's like everything is happening right now, and the worst people who you don't want to show up are now here. Wow, I'm stressed for next time, and that's a good thing.
Thank you so much. We'll hop on over to Christian.
Hi everyone, my name is Christian, better known as Kappa in most online spaces. You can catch me collecting all the ones and just giving them all the love that they deserve. If you liked what you saw today, you can also find me on the internet at the Kappa Chris. I'm mostly active on Twitter. I got stuff to plug. But the most important, the biggest one right now is I am guest starring in a short spin-off of the Atomless, a Starfinder podcast / AP set in a wonderful sci-fi universe. It's called Saga, which is a sort of flashback to what is going on in the main campaign with that cast. So if you are interested in any of that, you can go to atomless.card.co, atomless.carrd.co to find out more. One episode's out so far, just the VOD, but a edited down version is going to be available on in podcast form starting tomorrow morning. So look forward to that. I'm very proud. It's so good. I play Winston and he talks like freaking a Benoit Blanc. It's great.
Amazing.
Oh my god. Thank you so much. Did you say your favorite part?
Oh, okay. I have so many favorite parts. Okay, I'm gonna be selfish about this one. It's Jay Bahari throwing up like the fractal phasing like Doctor Strange to protect Rusubi from the volley. Oh, so cool.
That was fun.
Excellent. Thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and insert myself here so I can say my favorite part. Hi everyone, I'm Stella Luna. Welcome to the channel. If you enjoyed the content that you saw here, please consider giving us a follow. It's a free way that you can support the channel and also get notifications for when we go live. We have all of our previous episodes available on our YouTube as well. My favorite part was meeting Jetsam.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god.
I could see it, Stella.
Yes, I'm sorry. I have one gender and it's thirsty, okay? And yep. Well done. Yes. Moor, thank you. And then I'll pass it over to Trout.
Hi, I'm Trout. Adam and I make TricksyWizard comics. You can find us at TricksyWizard on all the socials, at TricksyWizard.com. I'll let Adam talk more about that stuff, but it's impossible to pick a favorite part. I'm doing this at the expense of other favorite parts, but probably when my dear friend Berengaria instructed a shark to help guide my sniper shot down the nose of a tank, and then the tank blew up. Because that's the dream. That's what this character's all about.
Dream, isn't it? Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wild. Hi there. I'm Adam. I'm the other half of TricksyWizard. And I love this game. Hi, everyone. Thank you for playing with me. That was wonderful. Honestly, I'm just going to say this might be cheating a little bit, but I think my favorite part was the fact that you all had the dice like so heavily on your side at the very end until the last moment. I think the fact that like phase 1 of the combat was supposed to be like very possible, but potentially leave you all like maybe a little scarred up, maybe like, okay, we did it, we got a lot of people out of here, but like, no, you danced on them, you styled on literally everybody here. And now as phase 2 happens, I get to do it in the most dramatic sort of like turning the tables way possible. You all like fate and your decisions and your performances all set me up for, I think, one of my favorite little heel turns I got to do in any campaign. So thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We will be back with more Brine and Blight next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Please take care of yourselves, stay hydrated, and pun. Who's got it?
We'll see you next week. I sure can't wait.
Yes. Thank you so much. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Swim.